Now with Andy Ulickney, here's the voice of the Dogs, Jim Doyle.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight from Crispin Field in Berwick, it's the Bulldogs against the Wolfpack of Wilkes-Barre area. I am Jim Doyle. I'm joined by Dr. Alan Lanaconis. The producer of this broadcast is Jake Klein. Well, the Berwick High School football team feeling pretty good about themselves right now, and why not? They've won 2 games in a row to even their record at 2-2. In those 2 games, 49-0 over Abington Heights, 34-10 over Williamsport. The offense has been good. The defense has been great. Berwick's defense the last 2 games has allowed 3 points. That is the first team offense. 3 total points. Rushing, the 2 teams, Abington Heights and Williamsport, combined against the first team defense, 32 yards on 43 attempts. Even if you go back to week 2, the loss at Valley View, a very good team, only averaged 2.6 yards rushing. So this is a formidable Berwick defense, and it will be challenged tonight. I mentioned how good they have been against the rush. They're going against a team that's very, very big, averages 277 pounds a man on the offensive line, tackle to tackle, and a team that features some excellent running backs, the most notable, Makai Nelson, who has almost 600 yards rushing, averaging over 6 yards a carry, and that's just 4 games. Wilkes-Barre area lost to Scranton, a tough one in their opener, 25-22. Got by Abington Heights, 21-14. Rolled over Wolfpack, 34-7. And last week, lost to an unbeaten Hazleton area team by a score of 20-7. So a good matchup here tonight as we see if the Bulldogs can keep it going against a team that should offer a challenge. Alan Lanaconis with me for Bulldogs football once again. Again, we wish our best to longtime partner Andy Ulickney, who's still bothered with some serious back issues. We hope that Andy's able to get back soon. But, Al, this is maybe the first night where it seems like football weather.
There's definitely a chill in the air. I can see coats over there, jackets, people bundled up. But even had that smell of the football season as I was walking into the stadium. So definitely feels good. I think the players will enjoy it. A little cooler to play, and they'll be able to get rolling. Well,
this Berwick defense, I think you'll agree, has been terrific. But this will be a real challenge because Berwick's defensive 4 are good and they're quick, but they're a little undersized. Wilkes-Barre is not undersized.
Looking at some of the players when they were warming up here, I'm very impressed with the size of their athletes there. And as Coach Bennett said in his pregame, his boys are pretty strong. They've been in the weight room, and I think they'll be tested tonight as far as how strong they really are because they are definitely undersized.
And Berwick does have quickness across the board, and that quickness maybe will make up for that size. But they've been so good against the run. They get after the passer. In fact, they have 10 sacks as a team through 4 games of the season. From a defensive standpoint, you can't do much better than that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've been impressed seeing them now a couple games and how fast they get the ball. They swarm, and that's what you want as a defensive coordinator, to see everybody heading towards the ball. Last week we saw, a great running back from Williamsport, and the concern was would he get his yardage, and Berwick just keyed on him, and he really couldn't get going. He averaged almost 200 yards a game, and they held him to 30-some yards.
Well, this should be a better matchup for Berwick than it has been the last 2 weeks because of the size and because of the running ability of Makai Nelson. Should make for an interesting night.
Definitely. I think Berwick will, again, be tested right off the bat here to see what they can do up front. But, again, I think I kind of give the edge to Berwick a little bit with their quickness and just their maybe knowledge of the game that they'll be able to play and offset that size advantage that Wilkes-Barre has.
Al will be by later with the keys to tonight's game. When we return, we'll hear from Wilkes-Barre area coach Ciro Cinti. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
If you haven't been to name brand liquidations in the Berwick Plaza Shopping Center, you're missing out on great values. At name brand liquidations, you'll save money from 50 to 90% on everything imaginable. From furniture to food to bedding, you name it. Name brand liquidations not only sells a huge variety of merchandise, they feature name brands just like their name says, at low prices. When you're in the market for anything, shop at the store that has everything. Name brand liquidations. Wishing the Berwick Bulldogs a great season. When you're planning your next big event, weddings, concerts, church festivals, even construction sites, remember Preferred Portables has you covered. Preferred Portables offers a luxury restroom trailer that even has hot water. Have no power? No problem. They can provide a generator to keep the lights on. Preferred Portables can provide sanitary service to campgrounds, carnivals, parks, parties, and even has an emergency service 24 hours a day. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Email preferredportables@gmail.com. Go Berwick Bulldogs! Welsh's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welsh's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welsh's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jumpstart, tire change, are locked out, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welsh's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventive maintenance and state inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welsh's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Center Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick.
Of the 2022 regular season here at Crespin Field, home to Berwick football since 1929. It's the Bulldogs against the Wolfpack of Wilkes-Barre area. This is the fourth season for the Wilkes-Barre area football program, which combined the programs of Coughlin, Myers, and GAR. But it's the first season that the Wolfpack have their own stadium. Head coach Ciro Cinti on that development.
Well, again, Jim, it's a multi-purpose stadium, so it's not just ours. It's nice to have that. Believe me, I've never said that. It's not fully completed yet. The playing surface is beautiful. It really is. Stands are nice, but there's no concession stand or locker rooms yet. So still, it's in a process of getting fulfilled the actual stadium itself that we could say that we could leave our equipment in. We still travel everywhere on buses, so. To say it's truly a home field, it is nice. The field itself is beautiful. I like the atmosphere is really great. Crowds have been phenomenal. So I could tell you, the lighting system, everything is totally up to speed and new. So that stuff is great. I said, and like I said before, for all athletics, you have soccer there, you have field hockey there, lacrosse will be there. So track and field, obviously, but it's for all these kids in the school district, and that's what is needed for too many years now that we've been together, that we've not had something that we could call our own. So for all the sports itself, it's fantastic. To answer your question for football, like I said, it's not truly our field yet because we don't have a locker room or anything there. So we're still traveling all over the place. But don't get me wrong, the crowds have been phenomenal. The lighting, the surface itself, it's what a difference. That's all I can tell you.
Well, it's hard to believe we've reached the halfway point for the regular season. 4 games for your team, 2-2 overall. How would you evaluate your season to date? What have you done well? What's still a work in progress?
Well, everything's a work in progress, I can say. At this point, 2-2. We started off slow. The first game was Scranton. The other game we could have won. We should have won. Okay, looking at our eyes. Come back and win 2 games. Teams that we should beat, and we did. We played Hazleton tough this last week, but again, we had our opportunities. I think some of the younger kids, we have guys that have played, believe me, in the past, but some of these younger kids that were starting to play now. Last week was a little bit of an adversity week. We had several kids in our secondary that weren't there, that didn't play against Hazleton. That's why we're really scared. And these young kids, God love them, they stepped up and played. I mean, they have to have the same effort against quality, skilled kids in Berwick this week to be, to stay in the ball game.
Makai Nelson has some really nice rushing yards through just 4 games of the season. What makes him a good running back?
His preparation and his off-season work has been really great. He's brought into the system that, he has to do the extra stuff in the off-season to get better. And he has. I mean, he really, really has. I mean, it was nice to see University of UConn over the summer offered him, which is great, a little feather in his hat. But, he's worked hard at this. And he, like I said, he's bought into, working hard in the off-season. Not that he didn't in the past, but knowing that it's an all-year process, having his goals in front of him and what he has to do to attain those goals. And he's done that. So, he's become even a better leader, on the field. So that's always nice to see also with him. That's what's made him better and then having a good year so far.
You mentioned Berwick earlier. What concerns you most about them?
Their speed. I mean, their skill kids are great. I mean, you go from Wilk and Kishba. I mean, I think these kids, Sheptok, they're all athletic and fast. They're long and fast, and they do a great job. Of quarterback's doing a very good job also, completing a lot of passes, and their speed into the ball, especially defensively. I mean, they just fly to the ball and cause havoc. So, again, a typical Berwick team. And Coach Bennett, unfortunately, I've been around a long time. We coached against Coach Bennett when he played at Berwick. So, I know what he'll bring to bring back the tradition of Berwick and, to where it should be with him at the helm. I'm sure he's doing a great job. I mean, the first 2 games are tough teams he played. Then the last 2 weeks, he's done a great job with the last 2 weeks with this team. So they'll be ready to play, I'm sure. They'll come to play, and hopefully we can give them a game.
That is Ciro Cinti, longtime coach at Coughlin High School. In fact, 13 seasons as their head coach. Now in his fourth season of the jointure of Coughlin, Myers, and GAR. And Ciro in his 17th season overall as a head coach, 16-17 his mark at Wilkes-Barre area, 87-90 overall. His Wolfpack come into tonight's game with a 2-2 record. Victories over Abington Heights and Wallenpaupack, losses to Scranton and unbeaten Hazleton area. The Bulldogs against the Wolfpack. We'll check the starting lineups when we return. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Wilkes-Barre. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
Yannick Real Estate is your full-service real estate agency. Buying, selling, residential, commercial, multifamily, land, and rental management. Call Yannick Real Estate. Owner Mike Yannick, a veteran himself, served his country and has been serving this area for decades. Mike and his staff will guide you through the real estate process. Veterans, be sure to check the VA loan options. Yannick Real Estate, your full-service real estate agency. 1232 West Front Street in Berwick. Call 759-3300.
More people in our area are choosing First Columbia Bank and Trust for their home mortgages. Is it time you discover why? First Columbia Bank offers competitive rates along with local expertise, local decisions, and local loan servicing. Let's see what First Columbia can do for you. Call today to get pre-qualified for a home loan from the #1 mortgage lender in our area. Find out more or apply for your mortgage online at firstcolumbiabank.com. First Columbia Bank, with you every step of the way. Equal housing lender.
First Columbia Bank.
And 77 Main Street in Chickasha are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with pre-arranged funeral counseling, insurance, and pre-financed funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Alumni Band Night here at Crispin Field tonight. The crowd was just entertained by not only the current Berwick High School band under the direction of Anthony McDonald, but also a lot of alums who have showed up and playing their instruments as well. Berwick against Wilkes-Barre area. Here is the starting lineup offensively for the Wolfpack. At the tight end, they list number 32, Gannon Redding. He's a 6'1", 205-pound senior. However, looking at their offense going through their drills beforehand, we saw him at a fullback spot, and we saw Naquan Johnson at a tight end. Johnson is a force wherever he goes. He wears number 8. He's 6'1", 192, a junior. He has 7 catches on the season for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's over 30 yards a reception. This big line that we've talked about. The left tackle is number 78, Ian Bednar. He's a veteran. 6'2", 280 pounds, a senior. Gio Gonzalez is the left guard. He's 6'1", 285, a junior. Jimmy Griskevich starts at center. He is the smallest, or I should say the lightest, of the offensive linemen. 260 pounds, a sophomore, at 6'4". The right guard is number 53, Gilbert Gonzalez. 6'1", 275, a senior. And the right tackle, big number 65, Dan Horgan, 6'3", 285, a senior. At a wide receiver spot, we'll see number 15, Gabe Saraceno. 6'1", 172, a sophomore. A couple of catches for 25 yards. We'll also see Javon McClary, number 7. McClary played a lot of quarterback for this team a year ago. He's now a wide receiver, couldn't even be a running back. He's 6 foot, 165 pounds, a senior. He has 17 carries on the season for 80 yards, a couple of receptions for 9. We talked a lot about Makai Nelson, just a junior, already offered by UConn. 6'1", 175-pounder, having a terrific season. 595 yards through just 4 games and 5 touchdowns. He's averaging 6.3 yards a carry. They also have a veteran running back. We may see a tailback. We may see a fullback. He is number 16, Howie Shiner. 5'11", 195, a junior. 29 carries for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. As the starting lineup offensively for the Wolfpack under Ciro Cinti, in his 4th season as head coach, 4th season for the jointure known as Wilkes-Barre area. They come in with a 2-2 record. For the Bulldogs, at the tight end, number 6, Rowan Slabinski. 6'3", 215-pound senior. 4 catches on the season for 56 yards and a touchdown. The left tackle, number 71, Harrison Snyder. 6'1", 210, a junior. Bruce Hartman starts at left guard. He wears number 65. He is 6 foot, 254 pounds, a senior. A junior starts at center. He is Liam Carroll. He wears number 78, 5'9", 210 pounds. Jack Andrews starts at right guard. He's a 5'11", 283-pound senior. And the right tackle, number 64, Chase Shuckers. 6 foot, 245, a sophomore. At a wide receiver spot, number 7, Dre Wilk, 5'11", 181-pound senior. There was some concern about his health. He sat out the second half of the Williamsport game with a shoulder problem, but he's okay. They exercised caution, kept him out of some of the practices this week, but he is good to go, and that's great news for Berwick. Receiving, 8 catches, 84 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Rushing, 5 carries, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's also returned a punt for a touchdown. He intercepts passes. He is just an all-around terrific high school football player, Dre Wilk, the 5'11", 181-pound senior. The quarterback's number 12, Matt Lonzinski. He is 6 foot, 217 pounds, a senior. He's completing 52% of his passes for 487 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. We talked about how well Berwick's defense has played in the last 2 games, their 2 victories. But how about Lonzinski? 63% of his passes completed, 12 of 19, 5 of the 12 completions have gone for touchdowns. The leading rusher on this team is number 2, Bo Sheptock. He is a 5'10", 168-pound sophomore, 50 carries, 238 yards, and a touchdown, averaging 4.7 yards a carry. We'll also see Ryan Bankus, 5'7", 195, a senior, 43 carries, 148 yards, and a touchdown. Another wide receiver and an outstanding one, number 4, Spencer Kishbaugh, 6'2", 210-pound senior. 9 receptions on the season for 198 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he's carried the ball 3 times for 64 yards and a touchdown. Out of the Wildcat, right up the middle, he had a 61-yard touchdown run in that 34-10 over Williamsport last Friday. At the fullback spot, Mike Vaughan's been seeing a lot of action lately. He wears number 44, 5'9", 200 pounds, a senior. We also might see some of Jimmy DeAndrea. He's been out with an injury the last couple of games, but he practiced this week, will be in uniform. Jimmy is 5'10", 178 pounds, a junior. That is the starting lineup offensively for the Bulldogs under first-year head coach Mike Bennett. They come in with a 2-2 record. This offense is now averaging 32.7 points a game, and they've shown pretty good balance with the rush in the pass. 137.7 yards rushing a game, 129.5 passing. Turnover department for the Bulldogs, they are dead even in that department. So it's Berwick against Wilkes-Barre area. The keys to tonight's game, Al Monaconis.
All right, thank you, Jim. Yeah, it should be a very interesting matchup. A little bit different than the Williamsport game last week. Williamsport's offensive line wasn't as big or maybe as talented, but they did have the running backs. Tonight we see the obviously size for Wilkes-Barre, as well as good running back. So the defense will be challenged, obviously. For the Wolfpack offensively, Coach Sinti, said it right at the beginning. We're going to run, and that's going to be the key for them. When you have a running back like Nelson in the backfield, almost 600 yards on the season, and I think you put it, termed the word shifty. I think that's going to be somebody that they're going to be relying on, obviously, to carry a lot of times and get the ground game running. Obviously, in their 2 wins that they had, they averaged almost 288 yards on the ground. But against Hazleton, they were bogged down a little bit and slowed down, and that's what Berwick is going to try to do tonight. Their big line, as you pointed out, 280 pounds, almost average across the line. They're going to be looking at their ability to move Berwick off the ball on offense to allow those running backs some room to get going and possibly give their young quarterback some time to throw the ball. Obviously, the big line also, they want to control the line of scrimmage on their defense. They'll be coming in here playing a 4-4-D with their 4 down linemen, and then having their backers obviously picking up some of the slack on the plays. Their biggest thing, I believe, is not to allow Berwick to have any big plays. We saw that last week against Williamsport. Berwick jumped out early with those long runs, the pass plays, even the interception that set up their touchdown. And that's going to be a key for the Wolfpack right now, is not to allow Berwick to do that. The only comparable team that we have, obviously, they did have a rougher time with Abington Heights. But in high school football, it's really hard to compare, when you play from week to week and who you're against. So hopefully Berwick, is looking at that as far as an advantage for them. As far as Berwick is concerned, keep their 1.3 yards per rush average intact. Their defense is swarming. They're quick. They get to the ball. They want to be able to make sure that they control Mr. Nelson in the backfield, as well as some of their other receivers like Johnson. Berwick has only given up 239 yards passing for the year, which is a great stat. I know they can't allow him to get open. You mentioned they changed some things here as they were warming up. We may see him as a tight end. We may see some different wrinkles. Maybe they're preparing for this Berwick game. But Johnson could be somebody that we can watch out for. The second thing is execute without the penalties that we saw last week. It didn't hurt them as much, obviously, in the game. But in a game like tonight, if they rack up 70 penalties in the first half against a team like Wilkes-Barre, that could hurt them as the game goes on. They want to be able to score their points, but again, we got to watch the penalties as far as Berwick is concerned. And I think the wild card tonight might be Matt Lonzinski. I think, he has to have a good night again, because that's going to set up that running game. You heard Coach Bennett and Coach Sinti talk about their way to play defense. They're not super aggressive. They're not a real blitzing defense that a lot of times you see out of a 4-4-D, but they're more of a reactive team, that they'll wait and see what's going on. And that, to me, shows speed on the defense. You might have Lonzinski having a little more time in the pocket tonight and getting the speedy receivers like Kishbaugh and Wilk into open space and making some completions. And that, in turn, will then obviously allow that ground game to get going. We'd like to see, obviously, Berwick and Coach Bennett would like to see another 300-plus yards rushing tonight against this Wilkes-Barre team.
Well, let's talk about the concept of jointure, because we've seen a number of them in the area over the years, and this is the 4th season for Wilkes-Barre area football. It's only the 3rd meeting with Berwick because they didn't play the COVID year, but sometimes these jointures take off right away. Other times it takes a long time. But the fact is, the 3 schools that were involved, Coughlin, Myers, and GAR, were all struggling at the time, and they were all low on numbers. So from that standpoint, it's a better situation for Wilkes-Barre area. They finally have their own stadium. That has to help.
Oh, definitely. It's association, really. They can join together. It takes a couple of years for those rivalry pieces to kind of dissolve. And I'm sure there's still some chirping going on between the players or where they came from. But in time, you'll see that change. I grew up in the Hazleton area, West Hazleton, Freeland, in Hazleton. And then there was the jointure, and they all moved together. And it took a while for that to mesh. But then as they started to see, the facilities changing, the stadiums changed. Harmon Geist went, totally different. We saw new basketball courts and everything else going on. The students start to get more of an identity. We heard Coach Cynthia talk, tonight. It's still like away games for them because they don't have locker rooms there. They don't have the concession stands, but they're getting that feeling of togetherness and team unity through that time. So I think in time you'll see that,
it's funny. Some of these jointures take off right away. I remember, I think it was 1967, the first year for Wyoming Valley West, which combined, I think, 7 different school districts, all of whom had some history with success. And they looked like a monster. They killed Berwick that first year. Like, who's ever going to beat them? But then it slowed down a little bit. You mentioned Hazleton. One of the best Hazleton teams I ever saw was the very first one, because that year they had almost everybody back from Hazleton area. That year, West Hazleton had almost everybody back, so you were too deep everywhere. And that was the year that Berwick won the state championship undefeated with Ron Powles at quarterback. And their toughest game all year was the one right here against Hazleton area.
Right.
Then there were some lean years after that. So it's amazing the dynamic. Sometimes right away, sometimes for a while.
I think a lot has to do with how the students over time feel a part of the organization. As you mentioned, like in the Hazleton, West Hazleton, there was a lot of players, older juniors and seniors, that were really dedicated to football and playing and wanted to be part of that and still continue to play. But as time went on, you start to see less players from Freeland, less players from West Hazleton. They start dropping off because you start seeing those marginal players where in some of the other schools, and I look at Southern Columbia, how those marginal players have a big part in what they're doing at Southern Columbia, because they get to be on kickoff teams, they get to be on specialty teams, they get to give breaks to their starters during the course of the game, and that's a big factor. Whereas actually when I looked at the Wilkes-Barre numbers, I expected a lot more numbers on the field for the 3 schools coming together. But again, you're going to see the best of those schools coming out here. And, tonight Berwick should see a formidable opponent.
Yeah, I mentioned this is the third meeting between these two schools. Berwick leads it 2-0. Last season here at Crispin Field, Berwick won 28-7. Wilkes-Barre had just 98 total yards. Howie Shiner will get a start in the backfield, had a 31-yard touchdown run, their only score. Benny Knorr was huge in that game for Berwick. 21 carries, 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then the pre-COVID year, 2019, here at Crispin, Berwick won big by a score of 55-22 as the Wolfpack make their way on the far side of the field. They have white jerseys, white pants, dark blue helmets, and unfortunately for play-by-play men, light blue numerals. Powder blue is their color. As we look across the way, coming out of the George Curry Fieldhouse to our right, Bulldogs of Berwick about to make their appearance on the near side of the field. You'll hear the crowd tell you when that is occurring, as the Bulldogs try to go for 3 wins in a row with tonight's game. As they do make their appearance, blue jerseys, white pants, white helmets, white numerals, and trim for the Bulldogs. As we are a couple of minutes away from the kickoff to start this one, the officiating crew for tonight's game, Jim Elliott is the referee, John Basic is the umpire, the linesman is Chris Basic, Chad Obert is the line judge. The field judge is Tom McCallum, and the side judge is Kevin Harry. Berwick against Wilkes-Barre area. We'll be back with the kickoff. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
When you think of Wagner's Trophies and Engravables, you may only think of trophies, but we're much, much more than that.
We can take care of your wedding gift ideas or gifts for your graduate.
T-shirts and commemorative gifts for your company picnic or family reunion.
Unique gifts, personalized to your every need.
So when you think gifts, think of Wagner's Trophies and Engravables in downtown Bloomsburg.
Online at wagnerstrophies.com.
Mason's Monogramming has the largest selection of Bulldog items in Berwick. Family-owned with more than 30 years experience and new Bulldog wear for every age, including masks, tees, polos, sweater shirts, jackets, and hats. They even have brand new indestructible silicone cups, koozies, car coasters, decals, and more. Shop at masonsmonogram.com for their new items and select in-person pickup or shipping right to you. Follow their Instagram at Mason's Monogram for their latest new items. Mason's Monogram service in Berwick. Let them personalize for you.
The home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is WHLM AM, W282CO Bloomsburg, W234BH West Hazelton, W242CY Berwick, and W288CF Danville. Pop Radio, a Seven Mountains Media radio station.
S.J. Kowalski Heating and Air Conditioning sells comfort. Since 1972, S.J. Kowalski understands the importance of doing business locally. They service what they sell and take pride in customer satisfaction. S.J. Kowalski is a trained comfort specialist, a Lennox dealer, and they are Northeastern Pennsylvania's premier dealer of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split systems. S.J. Kowalski also sells and installs energy-efficient Renai water heaters and geothermal systems. Call 1-888-KOWALSKI and ask about special promotions and zero-interest financing.
Family tradition is the foundation of Nespoli Jewelers, a family tradition started by Joseph Nespoli and continued by his grandson Jonathan. For 3 generations, Nespoli Jewelers have prided themselves on mixing fine with fashion. Jonathan can customize your engagement ring and wedding bands, design a unique piece of jewelry inspired by you, or simply help you find an affordable gift. Service, quality, creativity. Nespoli Jewelers. Yesterday's principles, today's creations. East Front Street in Berwick and online at nespolijewelers.com.
Choral group, the Modern Airs, is in the press box right behind us. They just did the Berwick alma mater and now our national anthem. Let's pick up their sound. Very nicely done, the Berwick choral group, the Modern Airs.
Very good.
Just behind us in the press box, doing the national anthem as we get set for the halfway point of the regular season where high school football is concerned here at Crispin Field. It's the Bulldogs against the Wolfpack of Wilkes-Barre area. Take a look at some other games involving Berwick opponents, past and future. Big game tonight, Danville, undefeated at home against Southern Columbia. We'll be anxiously awaiting updates there. Wyoming Valley West is next on the schedule for Berwick. They'll be in Kingston next Friday for that one. Dallas will provide the opposition tonight for Wyoming Valley West. That's at Dallas. Dallas going great guns. They are undefeated right now. Williamsport's at Crestwood tonight. Hazelton area will try to stay unbeaten. They are at West Scranton. And Valley View is on the road at Pittston area. From what we could see, it looked like Wilkes-Barre area won the toss and elected to receive, and that's a little unusual. Most teams defer to the second half?
I believe Coach Ginty believes his offense can do the job with the offensive powerhouse and the size of his lines. I think he wants to test the Berwick's front group.
Dominic Acerno, Makai Nelson, Devon Underwood. Deep anticipating the kickoff from Luke Peters of the Bulldogs. As Wilkes-Barre will be moving from our right to our left as we view things in the first half that is underway. As the kick comes up very, very short. Bounces at the 20, picked up at the 13-yard line by Underwood, and he is swarmed at about the 26-yard line. That's where the Wolfpack will put it in play. They'll be going against a Berwick defense that lines up with Harrison Snyder, Mike Fell, Jace Shuckers, and Alex Hacker, the front four. Spencer Kishbaugh, Tristan English, Braden Hawkins, the linebackers. Ryan Bankus and Billy Hansen at the corners. Dre Wilk and Bo Sheptock are the safeties. 1st and 10. Wolfpack from their 27-yard line. I formation, slot to the right side. 9th grader, Jake Howe, at the quarterback controls. He gives the ball to Nelson. He's wrapped up. A loss on the play of a yard as Spencer Kishbaugh gets things going defensively for Berwick with a big hit. It'll be a loss of a yard, 2nd down 11.
Yeah, they just tried to run a lead play off the right side. Looked like about the A gap, and Kishbaugh just came flying in from the outside there, got right behind and pulled him down.
Again, the I formation. Redding is the fullback. On a roll, Howe is hit behind the line and dropped for a loss back at the 20-yard line.
It was a great. They rolled out to his left here, looking there downfield. The Berwick defenders were in great position. Good pressure by the defense.
Couldn't tell whether he was planning to throw or whether that was a running play for Howe. But I can tell you it's a loss of 6, and it's a 3rd and 17. As Ethan Lear checks into the secondary for Berwick as they remove a linebacker from the lineup on this obvious passing down.
Slabinski played that well from his defensive end position.
Howe throws a quick out to the far side, running room to the 25, to the 30, but they'll be short of the 1st down yardage. So a quick out to the far side.
For 3.
The completion, but they come up short, so Makai Nelson gets a reception. They needed 17, they picked up 14. So it's 4th and 3. And the punt team on. Evan Corcoran, senior, does all the kicking for this team. Connor Chappell does the long snapping. Snap is there. The kick is away, but barely. Almost blocked by Spencer Kishbaugh. Wilk has to let it roll, and it rolls dead at the Berwick 29-yard line.
Not sure. He may have had a piece of that, Jim. Kishbaugh may have just had a piece of that. He had a great rush on that. It looks like nobody's blocking him in his first series.
Well, he was all over the place. He's just so much of a football player. As Berwick will take over, they actually mark it at the 30-yard line. Wilkes-Barre area, defensive front, Jace John, Ian Bednar, Dan Horgan, Cam Hagaboo, Max Greger and Gabe Saraceno outside linebackers in this 4-4. Howie Shiner and Gannon Redding inside. Makai Nelson, Devon Underwood the corners. And we'll have to check the number of the safety. As Ciro Cinti said, you can see a number of people there. Berwick moving from our left to our right. 1st down at their own 30-yard line. I formation. Call goes to tailback and nothing doing. Maybe lost a yard of the play. Bo Sheptock got the carry. Nothing there.
Yeah, their big defensive front, they had a great surge there. They tried to come off the A gap on the left-hand side, and there was nothing there.
2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 30. First possession of the night for Berwick. Dre Wilk wide right. Spencer Kishbaugh in a slot to that side. Again, the I formation. Lonsinski under center. Gives the ball to Sheptock again. This time there's a little bit of room, and he gets out to the 35-yard line. Leading rusher on the team, Bo Sheptock. They actually mark it at the 36, so a 6-yard carry. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, there was another, just a quick dive to the right-hand side. It was like in a B gap. It almost looks like Wilkes-Barre is running their 4-4. but they're running inside the guard on the strong side and outside the guard on the weak side, and Berwick took advantage of that.
Bulldogs have 3 receivers to the left and Spencer Kishbaugh wide to the right. On this 3rd down and 4, Slabinski out of the gun, back to throw, fires a lob pass, and it's over the head of Dre Wilkes. That was going nowhere anyhow. Wilkes-Barre was all over it. So each team with a 3 and out to start this one. Punt team on for the Bulldogs.
It's going to be a good one. Looks like both teams are feeling each other out here, seeing what they can do. And again, both teams having some good quickness on defense. So this could be a very tough defensive battle tonight, Jim.
Naquan Johnson back in single safety for Wilkes-Barre area. Ethan Lear set to snap it. And Dre Wilk back near the Berwick 20 to do the punting. Snap is a good one. Kick is away. Pretty good punt. Naquan Johnson dropped the football, but able to pick it up. He called the fair catch, didn't make a clean one. It'll be pretty good field position for the Wolfpack on their second possession. 1st and 10 at their own 40.
Yeah, Ethan Lear and Ryan Bankus got down there pretty quickly, and Ethan almost had that fumble recovery.
Lear does a great job of getting under punts. He's the one that does the long snapping. As soon as his snap is away, he's headed downfield. Underwood is the running back. Howe, the 9th grader, is the quarterback. Banana bunch of 3 receivers to the right from the 40. Toss, sweep, right side to Devon Underwood looking for room. There is nothing there. Nothing there.
They ran like tight trips to the right, a quick toss sweep. Kishbaugh took on 2 blockers, got past them, and were able to get them 2 yards deep in the backfield.
Spencer Kishbaugh off to a great start defensively in this one. 2nd down and 12. Wilkes-Barre area at their own 38-yard line. Again, 3 receivers to the right. Howe fires a quick out to the far side. Has some running room, is that receiver, and he gets out near midfield.
Yeah, and once again, same play that they ran earlier. They were able to get it out in the flat. And obviously they got a lot of speed there coming out from Makai Nelson again.
It's the second catch for Makai Nelson, and it's a 3rd down and 3 for Wilkes-Barre area at their own 47-yard line. Nelson, one of 3 receivers to the right. Howe throws out there again. Again, it's Nelson, and he has the 1st down over midfield to the Berwick 49-yard line. So Wilkes-Barre area has found something that works for them. We talked all about Makai Nelson as a running back, but they've had him at receivers, getting the quick outs. And that time they needed 3. They got 4. 1st and 10, Wilkes-Barre area. The initial 1st out of the game, they have it at the Berwick 49-yard line.
I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight because they're taking advantage of his speed on the outside.
Now that bunch is to the left. Underwood is the running back. He gets it, and Spencer Kishbaugh there again. And I don't think that Devon Underwood got to the line of scrimmage.
No, again, they're really keen on the running backs, as we saw last week against Williams-Barre. Anything between the tackles, I think it's going to be very tough for the Wilkes-Barre players to get any kind of yardage.
Now Underwood leaves. Howie Shiner replaces him at running back. No gain on that last play. 2nd down and 10. Clock running. We're under 8 minutes to go in a scoreless opening quarter. Howe under centers. Got a slot to the right this time. Shiner is the running back. He gets the call. Tries the left side. He has some running room. Hit hard. Great second effort by him. Gets to the 42-yard line. Howie Shiner with a good effort picks up about 7.
There was a big change there. It was a lead to the left-hand side off the C gap. They took on the first block, but he's a powerful runner. He took on 3 or 4 Berwick players to take him down.
3rd down and 3. Makai Nelson is in a slot to the right. Gabe Saraceno outside of him. Naquan Johnson is the tight end to the left. Berwick digging in. 3rd down and 3. Toss to Shiner, trying the right side. He will not get the 1st down. Got maybe a yard on the play.
Yeah, Billy Hansen came up and took him out right at the ankles. He had some running room there, and look, he was ready to deliver a hit, and Billy took him out right at the ankles, brought him right down.
It'll bring up 4th down and about 4, and Wilkes-Barre not in the gambling mood. They bring the punter Corcoran in and hope to pin Berwick in as Dre Wilk back in single safety for the Bulldogs. Berwick came close to blocking the last one. It's a bad snap. It bounces once, but a great job by Corcoran to get the kick away. Fielded at the 10-yard line by Dre Wilk. He is tackled in the open field to 17. Well, that's a nice tackle. It was a one-on-one situation, and Logan Sienkiewicz made the play for Wilkes-Barre area, but a nice play by Corcoran, keeping his cool and fielding the bad snap and getting it away.
Once again, it was very close. Rylan Hawkins, if he would have kept coming harder, may have been able to block that punt. On the return, Wilk, I don't think he really saw the Wilkes-Barre player there as he was running to the outside and met him head on.
Boy, if he gets by him, that could be a long return.
Yes.
Nice tackle by Sienkiewicz in the open field. 6:28 remaining. In the opening quarter, there is no score. Berwick at their 17. Moving from our left to our right, Dre Wilk lines up to the right of Matt Lunzinski. 3 receivers to the left. Lunzinski has the snap, gives the ball to Wilk, starts one way, goes around the other way, gets out to the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. The play designed to go to the left. Wilk saw that there was nothing there, reverse field, and made something out of nothing. Picked up 4 on the play to the 21, 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, Lunzinski was watching how the play was developing. He saw Will coming back the other way. He made a nice block to free him up to get some positive yardage.
Caden Hunter is in as a fullback for Berwick as the Bulldogs face 2nd down and 6 at their own 21. Wilk wide left, Kishball wide right. I formation. Give on the play off the right side. Ryan Bankus and gets out to about the 25-yard line. Hard run by him. That's the only way he knows to run the football. It's going to be a 3rd down situation. The ball at the 25. 3rd down and 2 Bulldogs.
It was a straight lead to the right-hand side there, but that 4-4 defense, they were able to take on the linemen, but the linebackers and the corners are coming up very quickly and filling those positions, making it tough running for the Berwick ball carriers.
3rd down and 2. Spencer Kishbaugh on the sideline for this play. Quarterback keeper Lunzinski straight up the gut. Second effort got him close, but I don't think he got it.
It's going to be close, Jim.
Every time Berwick's had a 3rd and 1 on the season, it's been Lunzinski. That time they needed a little more than 2. And did he get it?
Nope, there's a penalty flag flying.
A flag down on the Wilkes-Barre area side. It might be just a warning of sideline warning. We'll see.
I don't know.
They did not make the first down. It's 4th and 1. The official went over. I don't know whether they're going to measure or what now.
No, it's a sideline warning. You're correct.
And are they saying it's a first down?
Yes.
Because they are finally moving the sticks.
Yep. So we got 2 yards on that.
No, needed 2, got 2. Matt Lunzinski comes through, 1st and 10. Berwick at the 27-yard line.
The head coach is definitely chewing on the official about the spot on that one.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe the penalty was something other than a sideline warning. I formation behind Lunzinski, who's under center from the 27, and the call goes to Bankus, and Brian Bankus has some running room over the 35 out to the 36-yard line. Good 1st down carry for Ryan Bankus. 2nd and 1 Bulldogs.
It was a great lead off the right-hand side in the B gap. They were able to split. There was a great block from the center on the inside linebacker, which actually opened that hole way up to get that 9 yards.
Wilk wide right. Spencer Kishbaugh in a slot to that side. 2nd and 1. Lunzinski, play action. He's going long for Spencer Kishbaugh. Pass hangs up, and Kishbaugh makes the catch inside the 25-yard line of Wilkes-Barre area. Naquan Johnson was all over the play in coverage. Pass hung up a little. Spencer Kishbaugh comes back, makes a terrific play, and it's a big gain for Berwick.
Oh, it was great. His speed just went right by the defender, Johnson, who's a pretty fast player himself. Great pass by Lonzinski, longed it up there just far enough out of reach of Johnson. And Kishbaugh, good concentration, pulled it in.
42 yards on the reception to Spencer Kishbaugh. Berwick, 1st and 10 at the Wilkes-Barre and 22-yard line. Hunter is the fullback ahead of Bankus in the I formation. Ryan Bankus gets the call, follows his fullback off the right side. Good second effort by him, close to the 15-yard line. Looked like he was stacked up for a gain of about 2, made much more out of that.
Oh, great hard running. You can tell that Berwick is kind of running a little bit more urgency right now, getting off the ball pretty good, especially off that right-hand side. The right side of the offensive line is really moving some people out.
2nd and 4, Bulldogs at the Wolfpack, 16-yard line. Clock running, 3:27 to go in a scoreless first quarter. Wide receiver to either side, offset I, behind Lonzinski. Call goes to Bankus again off the right side. The first down and then some as he powers to the 10-yard line.
Good hard running, Jim, just right on the A gap. Again, they're just pounding. They're going right at that big line, and Berwick's quickness is really showing on the inside.
1st and goal, Bulldogs at the 10-yard line. This possession started at the Berwick 17. As Lonzinski goes to the sideline, gets some instructions from assistant coach Nick Dawson. See how the Bulldogs play it from the 10. 2 receivers to the left. Slabinski, the tight end to the right. Toss, sweep, left side. Bankus hit behind the line, and he'll lose yardage back to the 13. Great penetration that time by Naquan Johnson. He didn't make the tackle, but he slowed Bankus up. And a loss back to the 14-yard line, 2nd and goal.
Yeah, that was a good defensive play. He shed the block and was able to shoot the gap there. Got in the backfield and had that turn Bankus in and allowed the other defender to come and make the play.
9th play of the Berwick possession. They have the ball at the Wilkes-Barre area 14-yard line. 2nd down and goal. Ethan Lear is in the lineup. He, Bo Sheptock, and Spencer Kishbaugh all wide to the left. Lonzinski has the snap, but whistles blow it dead.
Whistle before the play snap.
A side judge saw something. Checking with the referee. Al mentioned earlier, Berwick was hard hit with penalties last game, 10 for 100 yards, but this one will go against Wilkes-Barre area.
Yeah, offside.
So that'll get the lost yardage back and then some. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Berwick at the Wolfpack 9.
Keep the clock going.
3 receivers to the left. Now, Dre Wilk lines up in the backfield. He is to the right of Lonzinski, who awaits the shotgun snap. Flag, whistles.
Same.
Flag once again.
Same call.
We'll see.
We're getting in a neutral zone.
Referee indicates offside again. I'll tell you what.
We'll take.
If it's the same kid, I would say, get on the bus.
Somebody better be lining them up there.
Well, so Berwick now at the 4-yard line with a 2nd down and goal. Again, Wilk to the right of Lonzinski. 3 receivers to the left. From the 4, Lonzinski back to throw. Lobs it for Wilk. Makes the grab in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. Nicely done. Matt Lonzinski to Dre Wilk.
Just a nice corner fade. The timing was there. Wilk had the speed. The corner just was a step behind. He lobbed it up over top. Caught it in the corner of the end zone. Beautiful play.
So a terrific drive by Berwick on their 2nd possession. And now Luke Peters will attempt the extra point. He is 15 for 17 on the season. Left-footed soccer player. Kicks it up and kicks it through. Time out in the field. 1:28 to go. Opening quarter, Berwick 7, Wilkes-Barre area nothing. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
Northeast Pennsylvania, it's your home. And no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, what you rely on most is security. When that house becomes a home, the moment you get that new car, when your dreams become a reality, it's times like this when you have to look to the experts for advice and financial peace of mind. They're there with innovative products and services to help you with your financial future every step of the way. Together, they will help dreams and goals become reality. They are more than a bank. They're your neighbor. They are First Keystone Community Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Berwick strikes on their second possession. 10 plays, 83 yards to touchdown. 4 yards from Matt Wanzinski to Dre Wilk. For Wanzinski, it is his 10th touchdown pass of the season. 4th touchdown reception for Dre Wilk. Berwick will kick it off. Luke Peters does the honors. Kick is very, very high to the far side. Fielded at the 11-yard line by Nelson. On the return, he will get to about the 25-yard line. And that's where Wilkes-Barre area will put it in play for their third possession. The second possession, they got into Berwick territory. But the Bulldogs' defense that has been so good, particularly of late, stiffened. And now the Wolfpack from their own 25 for their third possession of this opening quarter, which has just 1:20 remaining. Berwick used a lot of the quarter with that possession. And again, Makai Nelson is not the running back. Devon Underwood is. Nelson, one of 3 receivers to the right. Howe under center. Gives the ball to Underwood. Tries the left side and nothing doing. He'll lose yardage back to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Alex Halker came in and just took him right down. It's like the outside blocking there has not been effective for Wilkes-Barre at this time. Even though they have speed, they just can't get to the outside.
They mark it at the 22, so it's a loss of 3. Second down and 13. Alex Hacker, 5'10", 200-pound senior. Number 2 on the team in tackles coming in. That's his 7th tackle for a loss. Again, 3 receivers to the left. Howe looks that way, fires, has his man, and that man breaks into the secondary, turns the corner at the 30, 35. Saraceno over midfield, still on his feet, forced out of bounds in Berwick territory. Check that. We'll check that number. It's number 3, Makai Nelson. So Makai Nelson getting a lot of yardage in this opening half, not from a running back spot, from a wide receiver position. He made a lot on his own there. Looked like Berwick had it pretty well covered.
Yeah, they ran that same play where they went trips to the right side, threw it to him in the flat, and he just cut back behind the line, behind everyone, right across the front of the defensive front of Berwick and right up the sidelines.
42 yards on the reception from the Berwick 36-yard line. The give is to Shiner off the left side. He gets inside the 35, down to about the 33-yard line. Ryan Bankus makes the play, but he's coming up hurt. He'll go down on one knee, and we'll have an injury timeout.
Injury timeout on the field for the Bulldogs.
Shiner's a tough running back. I mean, he's low to the ground. He's big. It's taken more than one person to bring him down. And looks like he might have taken the worst as far as that on the tackle.
Yeah, Bank is holding his right arm. So he comes out of the secondary. Of course, he's very important to the Bulldogs as a running back as well. Josh Kishbaugh will come in replacing him at a corner position. As Wilkes-Barre area with the football at the Berwick 33-yard line, as we're going to see this first quarter come to an end. With the score, Berwick 7, Wilkes-Barre area nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop.
Handles both business and... 214 Pine Street in Berwick and 5929 Main Road in Sweet Valley.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
One quarter of the books here at Crispin Field as the high school football regular season reaches the halfway point. Berwick leading Wilkes-Barre. Bank is shaken up, not back in there right now.
He's looking okay on the sidelines. I think he's going to rest him for a little bit.
Wolfpack going from our left to our right. Again, Makai Nelson. The Bulldogs got in there too soon.
Yes, they did.
You know, when you get in a position where you're going to blitz, to time it just right.
Yep.
And that time they did not. Second down and 2. They're showing blitz again. Again, a flag flies. Let's see if it goes the other way.
Nope, same thing.
Well, I mentioned it can be tough, and you're forgiven after 1. After 2, not so much.
We better not see 3 for Coach Bennett's sake. They're just returning the favor Wilkes-Barre did earlier.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. And the call goes to McClary, and he dropped for a loss. They went to the Wildcat with Javon McClary, who played a lot of quarterback last year. But Berwick all over the play, a loss of 2, back to the 25-yard line. Second down and 12.
Yeah, they tried to just almost like a student body left out of the Wildcat. And again, Berwick's defense very quick. Their outside people did a nice job bringing that contain and then allow the inside people to come in and make the tackle.
Now Howe back in there as the quarterback. Bunch of receivers, 3 altogether to the right. Howe looking downfield to Saraceno inside the 10, inside the 5, and down to the goal line just short of the touchdown. Makai Nelson from his slot position backed up, waved his hands like, here I go again. And Berwick may have bid on it because the Saraceno was wide open, a 24-yard pickup to the 1.
Yeah, the corners kind of bid on that a little bit. When that cleared the corner out, you had the safety over on the outside, and they were able to throw the ball right in between.
Full house backfield. They give us to Nelson straight ahead, and Makai Nelson appears to be in the end zone. Everybody indicating touchdown except the official, and now he chimes in. It is a touchdown for Wilkes-Barre area. 6th rushing touchdown of the season for Makai Nelson. And that was first carry, right?
Let's see. That was his third.
Third. Okay, as the extra point attempt by Cochran will try to tie it up. Javon McClary does the holding. Snap. Placement. Kick is up. And the kick is good. Time on the field. 11:10 remaining. Opening half. Berwick 7. Wilkes-Barre 7. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates. Why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
6-play, 75-yard drive for Wilkes-Barre area to tie the score at 7 with 11:10 to go in the opening half. 2 huge pass plays on that drive. 42 yards to Makai Nelson. And then 24 yards to Saraceno to set up the 1-yard touchdown run by Makai Nelson. So Gabe Saraceno and Makai Nelson coming up with big receptions from the freshman quarterback, Jake Howe. Score tied at 7. Corcoran's kick is a low line drive. Bounces to the far side. The return from the 20 to the 25. Ryan Backus back in there, out near the 28-yard line. So the Bulldogs will take over. They put together a long scoring drive in their last possession. Right now we're tied at 7, less than a minute into this second quarter.
Yeah, it's, again, some of the keys we talked about earlier, you know, they were going to run the ball, and it seems right now they've caught Berwick off their game a little bit and hit them with some surprise passes in there that paid dividends, obviously, for Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, Howe is averaging about 11 pass attempts a game coming into this one. But they've gone to the air. And Berwick at their own 28-yard line. Bulldogs move from our right to our left as we view things here in the second quarter. Wanczynski out of the gun. Gives to Backus and opens up 35 and out to the 39-yard line. Ryan Backus, quick hitter, gets the first down with an 11-yard run.
It was just basically a quick draw, or not even a draw, a dive right off the left-hand side of the offensive line. The hole opened up again. The defensive tackles in the ends are playing differently in a 4-4. They're playing more inside and outside, and Berwick is taking advantage of that gap.
1st and 10 Bulldogs at their own 39. Slot to the right side. Wanczynski out of the gun. Backus to his left. Matt is back to throw. Plenty of time. Fires out of the backfield, has his man, and Rowan Slabinski will be brought down at the 44-yard line, and there's a flag down at the point of the tackle.
I think they're going to call him for either a horse collar or a face mask on the tackle.
Give him 6 on the reception. Rowan Slabinski's first catch of the game, his 5th of the season, and maybe some yardage tacked onto this. It is going to be. This referee indicates a face mask, and that's the 5-yard variety.
He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it.
That's why it's only 5.
Yeah.
And it's a first down for Berwick at midfield. Bulldogs with 49 points against Abington Heights, 34 against Williamsport. This offense has been good the last couple of weeks. Got 7 on the board here early in the second. They have a first down at midfield. Wanczynski under center, I formation behind him, gives to Slabinski, who lined up as the fullback, and the quick hitter will get 3 to the 47-yard line. First carry of the season for Rowan Slabinski.
Again, a little wrinkle in there. Coach Bennett talked about a couple different plays. Maybe they'll try different against the Wilkes-Barre team. New look there. Just a quick hitter, keep those offensive linemen and linebackers honest.
Rowan Slabinski's had a good senior season. We've seen him at the tight end position. There we saw him as a fullback. We've seen him at defensive end along the line. He's the tight end to the right now on his second out call. As the quick hitter out to Dre Wilk, looking for running room, makes a nice move and picks up the first down inside the 40-yard line. Crowd reacting, a little extra push by Javon McClary, but no harm, no foul. Speaking for the officials. But some nice moves by Dre Wilk, and a first down at the 39 after an 8-yard pickup.
Yeah, Berwick's taking a little thing out of Wilkes-Barre's playbook. They're going a little bit wide, trying to get away from that strength on the inside, loosen up those backers, and they're taking advantage of, obviously, their skilled players.
Wilk wide left. Spencer Kishball wide right. Nelson out on him. Boy, terrific matchup of athletes there from the 39-yard line. Wanczynski, play action, back to throw, looking long to Kishball. Had him over the middle with a pass over his head down around the 10-yard line.
They had it there. It was a one-on-one coverage, obviously almost similar to what we saw one-on-one on the last long pass to Kishball. A lot of time in the backfield. I can see Coach Bennett coming back with some more play action on there. As we said earlier in the game, they don't blitz a whole lot. They react a little bit. But there were two other Berwick players that were open, especially right across the middle. It looked like Wilk might have been wide open also.
Yeah, pass protection's been an issue for Berwick in some games, but not so far in this one. Second down from the 39. Long count, Lenzinski gives it to Bankus. He's got running room, and Ryan Bankus inside the 30 for a Berwick first down.
Again, right up the 8 gap. That time, I don't know if he's audibling down there or not. I'll have to watch. But he's looking at where the defensive tackles are playing. That time they were playing outside the guard shoulders. The linebackers were lined up, stacked on there. It was a natural hole, just run up for the gain.
Bankus has an 11-yard run and a 10-yard run on this possession, which has reached the Wilkes-Barre area 29-yard line. He again is the tailback in the eye. He again gets the call up the gut. And this time he will get about 3 or 4. Second effort gets him that. Clock running, 8:28 to go in the opening half. We are tied at 7.
They tried the similar type play again, but this time we had the tackles pinching down. Linebackers were pinching down. A little tougher going, but he still managed to get almost 2 yards out of that.
Second down and 8 for Berwick. Dallas 14 and Wyoming Valley West 7. That's in the first half. Game at Dallas. Berwick will get those Spartans of Wyoming Valley West next Friday night in Kingston. Second and 8, Bulldogs. Offset eye behind Lenzinski. He's back to throw. He's in big trouble. He'll be sacked back in the 36-yard line. Ball comes free. Was he down? Looked like he was, but the officials did not blow it dead. Is it a turnover on the part of Berwick?
It looks that way. I kind of agree with you. I thought the ground caused the fumble because when he was slammed down to the ground, the ball wasn't squirting out. They're having a little bit of a conference there now.
Let's go defense!
So Wyoming Valley West gets a sack of Matt Lenzinski, a strip sack, if you will. Ball comes loose. They have the ball near midfield. And officials still talking it over. I thought he was down by contact, but
it looks like they're changing it. No, they're staying.
And Berwick's sending their defense out, so the first turnover of the game is a big one. Berwick had it at the Wilkes-Barre area 27-yard line. A sack, a fumble, and the Wolfpack has it at midfield if this one stands.
I think it was about a 10, 11-yard sack and then the fumble.
Well, I'm not sure.
He just picked up his beanbag there at the 36. So it's a 9-yard sack. They're still discussing this. Now he's going to come and go over and give an explanation to Coach Bennett what happened. They are moving the chains back.
Well, this could be a big turnaround.
No, they're going to. What? Now they're giving it to Wilkes-Barre, but they moved it back.
I don't get that at all.
No idea. Because where the Wilkes-Barre player that recovered the fumble, they must have said he was down when he recovered the fumble. Because that's about the spot where he recovered right around the 41. All right. He advanced it to the 50 where he was tackled again.
That would be the only thing making sense on this one. As Wilkes-Barre has it at their 41-yard line, big turnaround in the game. Lenzinski gives it up. And the score tied at 7, 7:46 to go in the half. Wilkes-Barre with the balls. They look to the sideline for the play call. Jake Howe under center. Offset eye behind him. He rolls to his left. He fires, slings it out to the far side, and they're saying incomplete.
Yeah, good defensive play there by Kishbaugh.
To the left sideline, incomplete.
Pushed the player out of bounds as he was catching the ball in the air. It was an incomplete pass.
Second down and 10. Nelson is the tailback. Redding, the fullback, ahead of him. Makai Nelson gets the call, tripped up as he just got going. Boy, somebody got him low on that far side.
It was Tristan English.
From his middle linebacker position That's a good job.
Definitely.
Nelson had ahead of steam.
He was rolling, yes.
So here's a big call, 3rd and 7. Wilkes-Barre area at their own 44-yard line. Score tied at 7. 7:19 to go, opening half. Nelson now is wide to the right. Berwick showing blitz. Howe gets the pass away, and he's got his man over midfield, down the far sideline, 40, and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That's Naquan Johnson. So Berwick coming on the blitz, did not get Howe. The 9th grader stood in there, got the pass away, and there was lots of room for Johnson, who gets to the Berwick 40-24.
He released from his tight end position. When they came with the blitz, he faked the block, and then he took off to the outside. It was a corner blitz, and Berwick had no one on the outside there, so he was wide open, and then safety had to come over and make the play.
32 yards on the reception from the Berwick 24. Nelson the call straight ahead. Nelson, good second effort inside the 20 to the Berwick 19-yard line.
There's a little bit of life now in the Wilkes-Barre offense.
Inside the 20-yard line.
They're marking it at the 18. Second down and 4. As the skill position players look to the sideline for the play call. Berwick was on the march. Then the lost fumble. Now Wilkes-Barre area with a chance at the lead. Johnson switches to a tight end position on the left. Nelson the call off that left side, cut down in the open field to 15. Nice work. Rowan Slabinski and Dre Wilk in on the stop. Looked like, from our vantage point, a pretty good hole there. They closed quickly.
Yes, they did. There was a lead play. The lead blocker took on the first defender, but then Slabinski came in and made a beautiful tackle in the open field.
3rd down and 2. Wolfpack at their own 16-yard line. Power eye to the right. Nelson the call, straight up the gut, the first down and then some. Inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line. So Wilkes-Barre area might have fooled Berwick a little by going to the air early. Now they appear to have the running game going. And we will have a timeout called by Berwick. 5:19 to go in the half, score tied at 7. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Welch's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welch's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welch's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jump start, tire change, are locked out, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welch's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventive maintenance and state inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welch's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Center Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Score tied at 7. 5:19 remaining in the opening half here at Crispin Field. Wilkes-Barre area has never had the lead, but they're closing in on one. They have the ball at the 7-yard line, where they have a 1st and goal following this Berwick timeout.
And they're just going straight power football right now with that big offensive line, just trying to move Berwick off there, and their big backs. They're doing the job right now inside.
Again, they have 2 blocking backs to the right. Nelson is deep in the backfield as the lone running back. Now they shift the blocking backs to the left. Berwick showing blitz. Nelson gets the call, and he's tripped up about the 6. Well, that's a nice defensive play by Berwick.
Yeah, Tristan English came in from the back and dove down, got him at the ankles.
It's almost as soon as those blocking backs shifted to that side, Berwick shifted a couple of linebackers to that side. And now it is 2nd down and goal for the Wolfpack at the Berwick 6.
Yeah, definitely it's power on power right now, and Berwick's quickness, at least their size difference, is definitely the advantage to Wilkes-Barre. But Berwick's quickness in all positions are helping them out, making some of these tackles.
Now they have Nelson out of the backfield, and Wilkes-Barre area will use the timeout. We'll take one as well. 4:35 to go in the half. 7-7. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
When you think of Wagner's Trophies and Engravables, you may only think of trophies, but we're much, much more than that.
We can take care of your wedding gift ideas or gifts for your graduate.
T-shirts and commemorative gifts for your company picnic or family reunion.
Unique gifts, personalized to your every need.
So when you think gifts, think of Wagner's Trophies and Engravables in downtown Bloomsburg.
Online at wagnerstrophies.com.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
4 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the opening half here at Crispin Field. Wilkes-Barre area talking things over. They called that last timeout to talk about this 2nd and goal at the Berwick 6-yard line.
The winning ticket number is 2.
We'll see what the Wolfpack comes up with.
204952.
Howe will be under center. Backs in an open set now for the first time. Trying to see where Nelson is. I don't see him. Underwood is on a wing to the right. Underwood takes it, comes around the end, and is hit hard inside the 5-yard line. What a terrific hit.
Mr. Kishbaugh.
Spencer Kishbaugh just unloaded on Underwood. They pick up just a yard on the play, and now it's 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, they basically tried to fake out Berwick by running almost like a reverse, and they came across there. Underwood had a steam, had some speed going there, but Kishbaugh came out of nowhere and took him right down.
3rd down and goal. Underwood is in the backfield now. I'm trying to see if Makai Nelson is in this. Is he wide to the right?
He's wide right here.
And they'll use another timeout. We'll keep it right here. The Wilkes-Barre area try to get the right call down near the goal line after this timeout. They're going to face a 3rd down and goal at the Berwick 5-yard line.
I don't know if they came out there to see how Berwick was going to match up, to see whether or not Kishbaugh would come out on him or what they were trying to do there. But I know they stood for a while. Coaches had a good look at how Berwick was setting up, and maybe they changed their mind.
This drive started at the Wilkes-Barre 41-yard line after the fumble recovery. Oh, what a turnaround that play was. Berwick appeared to be headed toward the lead in Wilkes-Barre territory, but then the sack of Matt Lonzinski, the fumble, the recovery, and Wolfpack on the march, but having some problems. They get near the Berwick goal line.
3rd and goal.
Yeah, Berwick definitely stiffened up when it came down in there, and again, keying on some of their players. Wilkes-Barre's trying to get maybe a little too fancy down there.
From the 5-yard line, Howe will operate out of the gun.
Watch the right side here.
Howe's going to dump it out to Nelson, hit behind the line, and he loses yardage back to the 11-yard line. They started Nelson out wide, going to the right. He shifted to the left, and Berwick with another defensive gem. And now it's 4th down and goal from the 11.
Slabinski came flying in there, and he may have got a piece of that ball. It was almost a lateral at that point. I thought he was going to pick it off, to tell you the truth. It was a great defensive effort there.
Well, even if Wilkes-Barre gets 3 here, it's a victory for Berwick defensively. I think they might be ready to use that last time out. They've tried them all.
Yep.
Well, that is a great defensive stand by Berwick.
Yeah. I think, Wilkes-Barre was moving the ball, powering the ball down the field, and it just seemed like they got a little too fancy here near the goal line, trying some trick plays, and Berwick quickness and speed just kind of foiled them at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you, Al. They looked like they had finally established a straight-ahead running game, loosened up by their passing success, and then they abandoned it as they got close to the goal line. We'll see what they come up with here from the 11-yard line. Looks like it's going to be a field goal attempt by Evan Corcoran. He kicked 4 field goals last year. His longest was 35. This will be from the 18. This is a 28-yard field goal attempt for the lead. Javon McCrary will do the holding. Connor Chappell with the important snap. From the 11. 28-yard field goal attempt. Snap, placement, kick is up, and the kick is no good. No good, off to the right. So not only does Berwick get the goal line stand, but they keep Wilkes-Barre area off the board. They'll take over with 2:54 to go in the half, and the score tied at 7.
Well, as you said, Jim, it was a great stand. Berwick, dug in, made sure that they had their reads were all in line there. They knew where obviously the big players were. I was just a little concerned at one point that Nelson was split out on the right-hand side. He was outsized when they tried to run that screen pass. But Berwick did a nice job defensively. Still have a little time maybe to move the ball and get a score themselves.
So good-looking drive by Wilkes-Barre area. Well, they certainly didn't rush anything. 3 timeouts called as they got it into a goal situation. And now let's see how Berwick plays it. Bulldogs with 2 timeouts remaining. 2:54 to go in the half. Score tied at 7. 3 receivers to the left. Lonzinski out of the gun. Has the snap. Back to throw. The ball tipped and incomplete. Boy, someone got a hand on it. One of those big linemen.
Yeah, it was number 17? Number 17, Jace John?
John Jace.
Yep.
Or Jace John.
Jace John, 6 foot, 215. Got his hand up.
So Berwick, 2nd down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Bulldogs will get the football to start the second half. So going in at the break, not at 7, wouldn't be the worst situation. 3 receivers to the left. Lonzinski again out of the gun. Back to throw again. Looking. Steps up into it. Looking long down the far side. Has a man. Chip top. Completion to the 42-yard line. In Wilkes-Barre area territory, Matt Lonzinski to Bo Sheptock.
I'm sure the Wilkes-Barre coaches are scratching their heads because they went to a dime package there. They had 3 down linemen rushing. They had basically 7 defenders in the back, and he happened to get behind them. Kishball had all the time in the world and got a nice reception out of them.
Matt Lonzinski to Bo Sheptock. 37 yards on the reception. Berwick at the Wilkes-Barre area 43. 2:23 to go in the half. Score tied at 7. Lonzinski out of the gun. Gives the ball off to Bankus. Sweeps the left side. He'll get about 5 in the first down carry to the 38-yard line. 2nd down and 5 coming Bulldogs.
Again, Berwick's getting some good running at the line of attack, but that speed from Wilkes-Barre and their corners and their safeties are not allowing Berwick to get those big long runs like we saw last week.
2 timeouts remaining for the Bulldogs. Clock running, 1:48 to go in the half. 3 receivers to the right. Bo Sheptock in the middle of that trio. Lonzinski has the shotgun snap and he's back to throw. Pump fake. Here comes the rush. He's in trouble. Backs up. Throws it up for grabs to Wilk. Wilk goes up and makes the catch and gets it for a touchdown. Matt Lonzinski under pressure. Throws it downfield. Trey Wilk comes back, makes a terrific catch, and gets into the end zone for the score.
I'm sure that's just the way Coach Bennett just roll it up. A great play, great athleticism on Lonzinski's part. He was trapped in the pocket, got outside. He was actually stumbling, got his balance back, and heaved it. And it was a wobbly pass. And Wilk did a great job adjusting, going up high, and getting it.
Luke Peters will attempt the extra point on the hold of Dre Wilk. The kick is up. The kick is good. Time on the field. 1:31 to go first half. Berwick 14, Wilkes-Barre area 7. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Reds Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Reds Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding, specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Reds Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Matt Lonsinski with his second touchdown pass of this opening half, both to Dre Wilk. Berwick strikes quickly after they perform that goal line stand. And what a turnaround this game is. Wilkes-Barre area 7 yards away from a touchdown lead. They don't get in. They miss the field goal. And Berwick marches downfield and take the lead. 14-7, 1:31 to go in the half. Remember, Wilkes-Barre area used all their timeouts on that last possession. Peters will kick it off to the far side. Underwood to 17, to the 20, and swarm down about the 23-yard line. So that's where the Wolfpack will put it in play. 1:25 remaining in this half. Boy, a half that has had some twists and turns, especially in the second quarter.
It's a type of game that Wilkes-Barre seems to have been in all year long. They've had some very tough games, very competitive games.
Makai Nelson, one of 3 receivers to the right. Hal, the 9th grader, has played pretty well in his first half from the quarterback spot.
Yeah, he's showing some maturity.
The give on the play is to Shiner straight ahead, and he'll get up to about the 29-yard line.
Yeah,
if I'm Wilkes-Barre, I'm not sure I want to try anything too fancy here.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, obviously, they got, they have the speed in the backfield. Shiner has some size. He breaks one tackle. He could obviously go the distance.
2nd down and 5. Shiner the call again. Looks for the first down yardage, and he'll come up about a yard short near the 34-yard line.
And he has the
first down.
He does have the first down.
Yeah, tough runner.
The clock running now, 47 seconds remaining in the half. The ball at the Wolfpack 34-yard line.
Doesn't seem like there's any urgency on their part.
As Shiner will get the call again. Slips out of one tackle and is brought down at about the 43-yard line. So he'll pick up about 9, but time for maybe one more play in this half, and that's only if they hurry. 20, 19, 18, 17. Howe up to the line of scrimmage. Gives it to Shiner. Hit by Harrison Snyder. May have picked up the first down with 9.4 seconds remaining. They'll come quickly to the line of scrimmage, the 46. And Howe will spike it with 6.7 seconds to go. So it will be 2nd down calling, but just 6.7 seconds remaining.
Well, obviously we can only guess. Here we have
Nelson is coming
out.
And Underwood on that side as well. So we've got good speed on the right side. My guess is
Saraceno split left.
Yeah, you spike the ball there. That means you're going to try something here.
Yep.
As Howe gets the snap, back to throw, fires for the sideline, incomplete. 1.4 seconds remaining in the half. Underwood, the closest receiver to the ball.
It was not sure what they were trying to do, a fade on that to the outside, but it was a great defensive play by Carmen Martz, where he basically was running with the offensive men and pushed them out of bounds, got him out of his pattern, and it kind of disrupted the whole timing of the play.
And Carmine Martz is in at a corner for Berwick. 3rd down, and now just the quarterback keeper to end the first half of play. With the score, Berwick 14, Wilkes-Barre area 7. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
Has a sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years of experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/ortho or call 833-LV-ORTHO.
More people in our area are choosing First Columbia Bank and Trust for their home mortgages. Is it time you discover why? First Columbia Bank offers competitive rates along with local expertise, local decisions, and local loan servicing. Let's see what First Columbia can do for you. Call today to get pre-qualified for a home loan from the #1 mortgage lender in our area. Find out more or apply for your mortgage online at firstcolumbiabank.com. First Columbia Bank, with you every step of the way. Equal housing lender.
First Columbia Bank.
The home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is WHLM AM, W282CO Bloomsburg, W234BH West Hazelton, W242CY Berwick, and W288CF Danville. Pop Radio, a Seven Mountains Media radio station.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
More people in our area are choosing First Columbia Bank and Trust for their home mortgages. Is it time you discover why? First Columbia Bank offers competitive rates along with local expertise, local decisions, and local loan servicing. Let's see what First Columbia can do for you. Call today to get pre-qualified for a home loan from the #1 mortgage lender in our area. Find out more or apply for your mortgage online at firstcolumbiabank.com. First Columbia Bank, with you every step of the way. Equal housing lender.
First Columbia Bank.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and Outlaw Conis from Crespin Field in Berwick. We're at halftime of the 5th game, halfway through this 2022 regular season with tonight's game. We got a good one going. Berwick leading Wilkes-Barre area 14-7. Bulldogs got it going offensively on their second possession. A 10-play, 83-yard scoring drive, capped on a 4-yard touchdown pass, Matt Lunzinski to Dre Wilk. Biggest play along the way, a 42-yard completion from Lunzinski to Spencer Kishbaugh. Luke Peters kicked the extra point. Berwick led 7-0. That lead held up until early in the second quarter when Wilkes-Barre area capped a 6-play, 75-yard drive on a 1-yard touchdown run by Makai Nelson. Nelson had a 42-yard reception on that drive. There was also a 24-yard completion to Gabe Saraceno. Evan Corcoran kicked the extra point. We were tied 7-7 with 11:10 to go in the second quarter. A wild second quarter it was. Looked like Berwick was going to take the lead. They had the ball at the Wilkes-Barre 28-yard line, but Matt Lunzinski was sacked, fumbled the football. Wilkes-Barre took over at the 41. They drove downfield, got a 32-yard pass completion to Naquan Johnson. At one point, they had a 1st and goal at the 7. But Berwick, with a great goal line stand, forced a field goal attempt with the ball at the 11. And the 28-yard field goal attempt by Corcoran sailed wide right. Berwick took over the football and then put together a 4-play, 80-yard drive. 2 big pass plays among the 4 plays. One was a 37-yard completion by Matt Lunzinski to Bo Sheptock to put the ball into Wilkes-Barre territory. And a couple of plays later, Lunzinski, under duress, looked like he might get sacked. Somehow, he stayed erect, threw the ball downfield, and Dre Wilk came back, made the grab, snuck into the end zone for the score to give Berwick the lead. Luke Peters kicked the extra point. That was with just 1:31 remaining in the half. A half that has ended with Berwick leading Wilkes-Barre area by a score of 14-7. Stay with us. We'll have stats with Al Wadakonis. We'll have scores of other games with Jay Klein. You're listening to Bulldogs football and Pop Radio.
Has a sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years of experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/ortho or call 833-LV-ORTHO. If you haven't been to name brand liquidations in the Berwick Plaza Shopping Center, you're missing out on great values. At name brand liquidations, you'll save money from 50 to 90% on everything imaginable. From furniture to food to bedding, you name it. Name brand liquidations not only sells a huge variety of merchandise, they feature name brands just like their name says, at low prices. When you're in the market for anything, shop at the store that has everything. Name brand liquidations. Wishing the Berwick Bulldogs a great season. When you're planning your next big event, weddings, concerts, church festivals, even construction sites, remember Preferred Portables has you covered. Preferred Portables offers a luxury restroom trailer that even has hot water. Have no power? No problem. They can provide a generator to keep the lights on. Preferred Portables can provide sanitary service to campgrounds, carnivals, parks, parties, and even has an emergency service 24 hours a day. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Email preferredportables@gmail.com. Go Berwick Bulldogs!
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Wilkes-Barre. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Trying for their third straight win tonight. The Bulldogs of Berwick leading Wilkes-Barre area at the break 14-7. Good first half of football. Looking forward to the second. Stats from that first half. Al Wadakonis.
Hey, thank you, Jim. Pretty mild compared to last week as far as statistically. There were some big plays for the Wilkes-Barre Wolfpack. As far as rushing, we have Mr. Nelson rushing 8 times for 19 yards. A good job by Berwick holding him down. Javon McClary rushed once for -2. We had Howie Shiner running the ball 7 times for 30 yards, doing most of the work towards the end of the half right there. Devon Underwood carried the ball 3 times for -2 yards, and the quarterback Jake Howe was sacked, or ran the ball and sacked for a total of -5 yards. So they had 21 rushing attempts for 46 yards. So once again, Berwick is doing a good job as far as keeping their opponents down as far as rushing the ball again tonight. As far as the passing area, Jake Howe had 10 attempts. He completed 7 with 3 incompletions for 117 yards, and there were some big plays in there. Naquan Johnson had 1 reception for 32 yards. Dominic Saraceno had another reception for 24 yards, and something we didn't expect tonight was Mr. Nelson having 4 receptions for 67 yards to make it obviously 117 yards at this point. So something that Berwick hasn't been giving up a whole lot of in the past is the passing yards, doing a great job holding down Wilkes-Barre, running the ball as they thought they would, but they were very successful in the areas as far as throwing the ball. Wilkes-Barre was penalized 4 times for a total of 15 yards. They were able to have 9 first downs during the first half. They had 4 kick returns for 35 yards. They had 1 field goal attempt, which was no good. Had 1 touchdown. Mr. Makai Nelson ran that one in for 1 yard for a touchdown to give him 7 points in the first half. For the Berwick Bulldogs, Berwick rushed the ball 15 times for 54 yards. Ryan Bankus rushed the ball 9 times for 49 yards. Bo Sheptock ran the ball twice for 6 yards. Dre Wilk ran the ball once for 4 yards. Slabinski, we put him in at fullback at one point, ran the ball once for 2 yards. And Lonzinski with the sacks and his attempts, he basically had the ball twice for -7 yards. So we had 15 rushes for 54 yards. On the positive side, Lonzinski had a great first half as far as throwing the ball is concerned. He had 8 attempts, 5 completions for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dre Wilk obviously taking most of those yardage. He had 4 receptions for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns, a 5-yard touchdown or 4-yard touchdown, and also that great spectacular 38-yard touchdown right before the half to give him 2 scores. Rowan Slabinski had 1 reception for 6 yards. Spencer Kishbard had 1 reception for 42 yards, which helped set up that first score in the first half. And Bo Sheptak had 1 reception for 37 yards. So once again, 5 for 8, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. Luke Peters also had 2 extra points in the first half. Berwick had 10 first downs in the first half. They did have 1 fumble, which was a fumble lost, and that helped set up that drive that Wilkes-Barre had that netted them no points on the missed field goal. Berwick did return the ball, kick returns twice, 1 for 23 yards and 7 yards, and 1 punt return for 7 yards. So that's what I have for stats at this point, Jim.
I think we're going to look back to that goal line stand. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in the second half, but that goal line stand by Berwick was huge. Not only did they get it, but Wilkes-Barre misses the field goal, and then Berwick drives the length of the field and takes the lead. That was huge.
It was definitely a momentum swing. You see when Berwick fumbled the ball, lost the fumble, Wilkes-Barre had the momentum. They were driving. They were plowing down there. And as we talked about, when they got inside there, they changed their offense. They went to a fancier trick play offense, and Berwick took advantage of that and stopped them cold. And then with the missed field goal, you could just see the Wilkes-Barre team kind of be deflated a little bit. Then obviously there were some big plays in there, and obviously the catch by Wilk, Dre, obviously made a big, catch there to take in the end zone to give them that 14-7 lead. But this is the type of game that Wilkes-Barre's been in all year long. They had a tough game with West Scranton, 1 touchdown game. They played tough with Hazleton, another really 1 touchdown game. So, they're used to these types of games, and hopefully, obviously Berwick will play tough in the second half here also. They receive in the second half. If they can get a good drive going and get a quick score, it may be enough to deflate Wilkes-Barre and, kind of take them out of the game a little bit.
14-7 is the Berwick lead over Wilkes-Barre area here at half. We'll check other scores when we return. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Welsh's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welsh's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welsh's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jump start, tire change, are locked out, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welsh's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventive maintenance and state inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welsh's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Center Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick. Yannick Real Estate is your full-service real estate agency. Buying, selling, residential, commercial, multifamily, land, and rental management. Call Yannick Real Estate. Owner Mike Yannick, a veteran himself, served his country and has been serving this area for decades. Mike and his staff will guide you through the real estate process. Veterans, be sure to check the VA loan options. Yannick Real Estate, your full-service real estate agency. 1232 West Front Street in Berwick. Call 759-3300.
More people in our area are choosing First Columbia Bank and Trust for their home mortgages. Is it time you discover why? First Columbia Bank offers competitive rates along with local expertise, local decisions, and local loan servicing. Let's see what First Columbia can do for you. Call today to get pre-qualified for a home loan from the #1 mortgage lender in our area. Find out more or apply for your mortgage online at firstcolumbiabank.com. First Columbia Bank, with you every step of the way. Equal housing lender.
First Columbia Bank.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick and 77 Main Street in Chickashinny, are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with prearranged funeral counseling insurance, and pre-finance funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
We're at halftime from Crispin Field. The Wolfpack of Wilkes-Barre area have made their appearance on the field, doing some warm-ups to our left, still awaiting the arrival of the Bulldogs of Berwick. Berwick leads this one by a score of 14-7. For an update on other scores, let's go to Jake Klein. Jake?
Well, at halftime, it's Danville over Southern Columbia, 21-14. Mount Carmel, 28, Bloomsburg, nothing. That's at the half. Dallas over Wyoming Valley West, 21-13 at halftime. Crestwood, 44, Williamsport, 7 at the half. Hazleton area, 21, West Scranton, nothing in the second quarter. Warrior Run over Northwest, 19-6. That's at the half. Lewisburg, 8, Central Columbia, 7 in the first quarter. Shikellamy over Selinsgrove, 7-0 at halftime. Jersey Shore, 56, Mifflinburg, 6 at the half. And Valley View, 20, Pittston area, 6 at halftime. For Pop Radio Sports, I'm Jake Klein.
Okay, thank you very much, Jake. And a reminder that next up for the Bulldogs will be those Spartans of Wyoming Valley West, who appear to be giving Dallas all they want in that opening half tonight. That's at Spartan Stadium in Kingston. We hope you'll join us for the broadcast of that game next Friday. Berwick at Wyoming Valley West. It'll start as usual at 6 o'clock with the Coach Bennett Show. And a reminder on our sister station, Bigfoot Country 106.5, it's college football coming your way tomorrow afternoon. Al and I will be at Danny Hale Field in Redmond Stadium as the Huskies of Bloomsburg University, a tough luck team so far, losing 2 overtime games, but tomorrow will be the Huskies' 4th game of the season, but it will be their first that counts in the standings of the PSAC East as they take on longtime rival Shippensburg. We hope you'll join us for the broadcast of that one. That will begin with the Frank Sheptock Show at 1:30, kickoff at 2 o'clock. So we're moments away from the kickoff to start the second half here with Berwick leading 14-7. Al, when I saw that Wilkes-Barre was starting a 9th grader at quarterback, and then I saw a 36% completion rate through the first 4 games, I thought, well, how good can he be? Well, I think through the first half, he's pretty good.
He didn't do too bad, that's for sure. He had some nice receivers there. He has some talented people out there with Johnson and obviously with Nelson getting open. And once they get the ball, they're dangerous because they have some speed. But you can tell, Wilkes-Barre came with a different wrinkle here tonight, try to catch Berwick off. And when they were doing their warm-ups, you pointed out that they had people moved in different positions that Berwick may not have anticipated. I'm sure Coach Bennett looked at what was going on in the first half, made some adjustments here at halftime, and we might see a little bit of a different defensive outlook against Wilkes-Barre based on those changes.
Yeah, we'll see if Wilkes-Barre area continues to put Makai Nelson as a wide receiver. He's very, very effective in that role. You mentioned his receiving numbers for the first half. He had just 3 pass completions on the season for 19 yards. He's already exceeded that in this game.
Right.
So I'm sure that's something that Berwick wasn't looking for, but now you've got to have to talk about it. 2 things. Does Berwick adjust to his being a wide receiver? Does Wilkes-Barre area continue to put him at wide receiver? Or do they go the running game with him, which late in the half was effective until they got close to the goal line, then they abandoned it.
Definitely. They have the line, they have the size, the running backs are big. Shiner's doing a great job. He's a power back, 5'11", almost 200 pounds. You wonder why they kind of got away from that, because they were having a lot of success driving the ball down the field there at the end of the half.
14-7, Berwick with the lead. Bulldogs will get the ball to start this second half. Bo Sheptock and Ryan Bankus await Corcoran's kick, which is very, very high and short. Bankus up the middle at the 11. To the 15, to the 20, the 25, the 30. Meets some resistance over the 30, out to about the 32-yard line. So that's where the Bulldogs will put it in play for their first possession. Pretty good offensive first half for Berwick. They were 3 and out on their first possession, but after that, moved it pretty well every time.
They had 189 total yards of offense. So if they can replicate that again, they'll be up over that 300 mark again for another week, second week in a row.
Yeah, in high school football, 300 plus is a good half.
Yep.
Or a good game, I should say.
Yep.
1st and 10. Berwick at their 32. Caden Hunter's been seeing a lot of action in this game at a fullback spot. He's there to start this second half as they operate out of an eye with Lonzinski under center. And he gives the ball off the left side and not much doing. That big line able to push back Bo Sheptok after minimal yardage. Second down coming up.
Yeah, they try to run that lead play off the left-hand side. Again, Wilkes-Barre's giving them a natural gap right there with their defensive end. They're kind of splitting him out a little bit, but that time he played it off very well.
2 yards for Bo Sheptok, second down and 8. Bulldogs at their own 34. Now Lonzinski tried it to the sideline to have his talk with the coaching staff, and he lines up in the shotgun with 3 receivers to the right and 1 to the left. Low snap. He's back to throw. He fires a quick out, juggled and dropped by Spencer Kishbaugh at the 36-yard line.
Formation is out to
Slabinski.
Yep. Slabinski, I should say. So it'll be 3rd down and 8. Berwick from their 34-yard line.
It's a nice play, developed very well. It was just off his fingertips a little bit, just couldn't pull it in. Had he caught it right away, he had some running room there, possible first down yardage.
Slabinski with 5 catches on the season. Slot to the right side. Dre Wilk wide left. 3rd down call. Back to throw. Lonzinski long for Wilk over his head at the 35-yard line. Pretty good coverage, step for step with Dre Wilk. Would have had to been a perfect pass.
Yeah, Trayvon Gambitsky had a step, like you said, step for step right there. And at one point, Wilk kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't think he realized the ball was coming, and then when he saw it, he sped up again.
So good defensive stand for Wilkes-Barre area on Berwick's first possession of the second half. Wolfpack will send Naquan Johnson deep, anticipating the punt from Dre Wilk.
standing in his 20-yard line.
Ethan Lear does the long snapping for the Bulldogs. Perfect snap. Kick is away. Line drive. Johnson at his 38 muffs the ball and falls on it at the 38-yard line.
Good. Yeah, he was trying to start running before he caught the ball. He saw the Berwick defender coming down the left-hand side, kind of took his eyes off the ball, and unfortunately fumbled it.
First and 10.
So Wilkes-Barre area will get the football for the first time in this third quarter, which has 10:56 remaining. Berwick leading in this one by a score of 14-7. 39-yard line is where they mark the football. Three receivers to the left. Looks like Makai Nelson will be the lone running back as Howe under center. First down call. Nelson gets it, looks for room off the left side, not much doing. Got maybe a yard on the play.
Yeah, tough going in there. Berwick did a real nice job there. Tristan English came up from his linebacker position, saw him in the backfield, shot the gap there, and got him right at the line of scrimmage for just barely a yard gain.
Hacker and Slabinski are the defensive ends on this series. Liam Carroll, Harrison Snyder are the tackles. That's the front four for Berwick. A yard for Nelson, who is now one of three receivers to the left. Underwood is the running back. Howe out of the gun. Back to throw. Fires long downfield. The ball is tipped and then caught at the 40-yard line. They catch a break there. Looked like it was going to be intercepted. And then the ball was pulled down by Gabe Saraceno. So Saraceno on the reception as they get to the Berwick 41-yard line. What should have been an interception is a reception.
First and 10.
19 yards to Gabe Saraceno from the 41-yard line. Pitch left side to Underwood. Got some running room, and then it closes quickly as they'll make the stop at about the 38-yard line. Underwood has some quicks. Got to hold your breath when he gets the ball, but Berwick has defended him well so far.
It's a flash. Boy, when he gets it, he just goes. Luckily, Berwick is strong and they're quick and they're able to meet him there, but I mean, he got that 5 yards in a hurry.
They mark it at the 37-yard line. We'll call it 2nd down and 6 for the Wolfpack in Berwick territory. They trail by 7. Gannon Redding lines up to the right of Howe. Makai Nelson to the left. Howe back to throw, looking for Johnson, incomplete. Well, that's great coverage by Berwick down to 15-yard line. Bo Sheptock was there. Carmine Martz there as well. So they had double coverage on Johnson, a dangerous receiver. And now it is 3rd down and 6 for the Pack at the Bulldogs 17.
And again, that might have been one of those halftime adjustments, knowing where he is, because I'm looking now, he split out to the left, and now there's 2 defenders heading in that.
Lost back to the 30.
Was able to at least get back to the line of scrimmage.
4th and 7, the punt team on for the Wolfpack. They're not gambling, even though they're at the Berwick 38-yard line. Corcoran's kick is away. It goes out of bounds on the far side. We'll see where they mark.
Up to 20. Once again, there, like I said, there were some adjustments made there. I'll be curious to see if they continue to double team Nelson when he comes to the outside.
20-yard line is the line of scrimmage for the Bulldogs. It's the offense. Ray Wilkes lines up wide to the left. Ahead, Brian Bankus, not much to it. Brought down right about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was very tough in that 4-4. But the 2 linebackers right there, they try to run the B gap on a lead there. This time, the defensive ends were pinching down. They weren't split out as much. The tackles were right on top of the guard, so there weren't a whole lot of room to get rolling there.
2nd and 10, Berwick. Clock running, 8:09 to go 3rd quarter. Bulldogs with a 14-7 lead. They have the ball at their own 20-yard line. Moving from our right to our left here in the 3rd quarter. Dre Wilk, with 2 touchdown passes in the game, is wide to the left. Kishball comes in motion that way. Call goes to Bankus, and nothing doing. Maybe a yard this time off the right side.
Yeah, in one man, it was a little deception play there. They were kind of looking like they were going to roll out, and it was a kind of like a sprint draw back to the right side of the line. He had basically one linebacker to beat, and unfortunately that linebacker did his job, stayed home, and he was right there.
Ethan Lear has checked into the Berwick offensive huddle for this 3rd down and 9. Ethan will be wide to the left. Wilk in the slot to that side. Slot to the right as well. 3rd and 9. Lenzinski out of the gun. Has the snap. Back to throw. Firing long down the far side. Incomplete. Intended for Bo Sheptock. Pretty good coverage on the far side, right in front of the Wolfpack bench. So it will be the 2nd straight 3rd and out for Berwick to start this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, not quite the way you want to get started, but it looked like Berwick was being a little conservative in this first part of the 3rd quarter. Obviously, they were down in their own territory. They didn't want to chance anything. That last pass play was a pretty safe play, just a kind of an outside line out to the receiver. He had to drop it in there perfect, though, for the reception.
Wilkes-Barre figures to get good field position. Wilk back at his own 5-yard line, gets the snap from Lear, gets the kick away. Wilkes-Barre will let it roll, takes a good roll where Berwick is concerned, and will go dead at the Wolfpack 40-yard line.
I think they told Mr. Johnson, don't try to field it this time, because he just ran away.
Yeah, I remember coming to a Berwick practice years ago, and Keith Seeley was the special teams coach along with the secondary coach, and I remember hearing him talk to his punt returner. He said there's 3 priorities when you're back to receive a punt. 1 is catch the ball, 2 is catch the ball, and 3 is catch the ball.
Well, Mr. Johnson twice bobbled him on a punt return, so I think they told him just don't bother.
1st and 10, Wolfpack. Makai Nelson is wide to the right. Berwick coming on a blitz. Howe gets the pass away, and a nice tackle in the open field.
Kishbaugh.
As Spencer Kishbaugh brings down the receiver after a very short gain on the play.
Once again, he caught it in space right there, right on the other side of the line. He had a lot of room to run, but Spencer made a great tackle in the open field.
2nd and 9. Ball just over the 41-yard line. Howie Shiner is the running back for the Wolfpack. As Howe looks to the sideline, he'll operate out of the gun. Has the snap, back to throw, fires incomplete. 10 for Nelson at midfield. Yeah. They've done a good job, Al, have Wilkes-Barre area with the quick outs and the quick passes, because Berwick can really, really get after a quarterback and really mess up your passing game, and they really haven't had a chance to get to him.
No, and it's a lot of it's timing. Jim's coming down, 1-2, two-step drop. It's great for the young quarterback because he can just pattern himself right there, and he knows what to do, and he's throwing pretty much to an area. And like you said, he's not being threatened by the pass rush.
3rd down and 9. Howe has the snap. And he is smashed back at the 35-yard line. That time there was no chance as Alex Hacker lowered the boom.
Oh, he came from the outside, Jim. He never saw him coming. It was one of those blindside sacks, and I'm sure Mr. Howe's going to feel that tomorrow.
I'm amazed that the 9th grader was able to hang on to the ball.
Yes, he took one heck of a hit.
Alex Hacker, from his defensive end position, his 5th sack of the season. Corcoran back to punt. Gets the kick away. End over end. Wilk has to let it roll, and it takes a huge roll where the Wolfpack are concerned will go all the way down to the Berwick 10-yard line. So that's where the Bulldogs will put it in play with 5:32 to go in the 3rd quarter, and Berwick leading Wilkes-Barre area 14-7.
Punter got that off just in time. Once again, Berwick almost had the block there. He had 2 Berwick defenders reaching for the ball. He had a little extra in there, but he got the advantage of a good bounce of about 25 yards.
49 yards, no return. And Berwick has it their own 10-yard line. Back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Bulldogs in this 3rd quarter, but they continue to lead 14-7 with 5:32 remaining in the period. Wide receiver to either side. Kishbaugh on a wing left. Onsinski out of the gun, back at his 5-yard line. Hands the ball off to Ryan Bankus, and he'll get maybe a yard off the left side. Wilkes-Barre has been very, very tough against the run in this 3rd quarter.
Well, again, Berwick is back there. They're not going to do anything fancy. It's going to be quick hitters. The defense knows that. They're creeping up. Their linebackers are creeping up and filling the gaps, not giving them a whole lot of room.
2nd down and 9 for Berwick at their own 11. Kishbaugh wide right. Bo Sheptock in a slot. Dre Wilk outside of him on the left. Onsinski has the snap, back to throw. Looking over the middle, throws it behind the Woodbury receiver. Saraceno on the interception, returns to the 11-yard line. Bad pass, interception, and Wilkes-Barre area in business. I think it was Saraceno, but I can't see these powder blue numbers. But they have it, and they have it at the Berwick 12-yard line.
Again, bad thing, decision at that point in time. It looked like he and the receiver were off. He was expecting a receiver to cut out, and he didn't get there. I believe it was Saraceno, number 16. Oh, Harry Shiner, that picked it off for the interception.
So now Wilkes-Barre area trailing by 7. at the Berwick 12-yard line. First down, 4:44 to go in the half. The give is to Nelson. Nelson has some room off the left side, inside the 5, and into the end zone for a touchdown. Makai Nelson from 12 yards out. Wilkes-Barre area, an extra point away from a tie.
It was just a lead. There were two Berwick defenders in the backfield, and he just bolted right by them, kicked off to the left-hand side of the line off the left end, and just headed for the corner of the end zone.
Second rushing touchdown of the game for Makai Nelson. He has 7 on the season. And now Evan Corcoran on to try to tie it with the extra point. Javon McClary will do the holding. Snap. Placement. Kick is up. And the kick is good. Timeout on the field. 4:38 remaining. Third quarter. Berwick 14. Wilkes-Barre area 14. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
When you think of Wagner's trophies and engravables, you may only think of trophies, but we're much, much more than that.
We can take care of your wedding gift ideas or gifts for your graduate.
T-shirts and commemorative gifts for your company picnic or family reunion.
Unique gifts, personalized to your every need.
So when you think gifts, think of Wagner's Trophies and Engravables in downtown Bloomsburg.
Online at wagnerstrophies.com.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Wilkes-Barre area cashes in on a Berwick turnover. Howie Shiner with the interception. One play later from the 12, Makai Nelson in for the score. We are tied at 14, 4:38 remaining in the third quarter. As Corcoran will kick it off. Bankus and Sheptock await for Berwick. Kick will be fielded by Bo Sheptock. Back at the 8-yard line to the 10, to the 15. He's over the 20, and that's all. Brought down about the 22. So Berwick's offense has been stagnant in this second half. 2 3-and-outs, and then the turnover. They'll get it here with 4:33 to go in the third. The score tied at 14.
Actually, this is probably their best field position in the second half because they've been stuck back at their own end of the field. It doesn't allow them to do a whole lot, and then you take the chance, as we saw in the last series, with the interception throwing in there. So Berwick has to try to get that running game going a little bit here in this third quarter.
Slot to the right, slot to the left. Lonzinski out of the gun from the 22. He's back to throw. He fires a quick out. He has his man. It's Ethan Lear. And Lear forced out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. So Lear catches the pass. So they show some confidence in Lonzinski, letting him go to the air, but this is a pretty safe pass to Lear. They will pick up about 6 on the play. Second down and 4, Berwick from their 28.
That was a good move by Coach Bennett. Get him right back in the saddle again.
Slot to the left, slot to the right. He's back in the saddle again, and he throws a bad pass behind Bo Sheptock, wide right. And now Berwick facing a third down and 4 at their own 28-yard line.
That was the first time I saw a blitz out of Wilkes-Barre. Or Gannon Redding came flying in from his linebacker position and put a little pressure on Lonzinski at that point. Maybe that caused enough to throw the errant pass.
So Berwick needs a first down. They need to get something going here in the third. Offense has been non-existent. Lonzinski has the snap, back to throw, big pass rush. Now he's rolling left. He's going to keep the football, and he's going to be dragged down short of the first down yardage.
Okay, looked like he had a lot of room. He started running to the outside. Oh, he's holding his shoulder now.
So the punt team will come on. As Berwick's offense has been non-existent here in the third quarter after putting up some great numbers in the opening half, 189 yards in total offense. In that half, they do not have a first down here in the third with 3:47 to go. Lear snaps perfectly to Wilk. Again, Wilkes-Barre will let it go and will roll dead about the Wolfpack 38-yard line. So that's where Wilkes-Barre area will take over. And let's see if the Bulldogs can get a big play out of the defense with the offense struggling. Wilkes-Barre area at their own 38-yard line, score tied at 14.
Yeah, just kind of stagnant. Again, the Wolfpack, they've had Berwick pinned down in their own area. What Berwick needs right now is a big stop right here and then try to regain some better field position, because right now it's been a game of field position and Wilkes-Barre area is winning it.
Makai Nelson is the tailback in the I formation. Jake Howe under center. Gives to Nelson off the left side. Breaks free at the 45. And finally brought down at the 49-yard line. Makai Nelson with a real burst. 11 yards on the carry by him. 1st and 10 for the Wolfpack.
And they're going right at our, Slabinski. They're coming right off tackle into his area. But he is so quick. I mean, Slabinski's playing it well, but he's so fast. He's getting right by, into the Berwick secondary.
Official stop play. For what reason? They're not telling us.
No.
1st and 10. Wilkes-Barre area. They have it at their own 49-yard line. Again, Nelson at the tailback spot. Berwick showing blitz. The run blitz pays off. He'll get maybe a yard to midfield.
Berwick was waiting for him in there. The linebackers came flying in and did a nice job making a stop.
2nd down and 9. Wilkes-Barre area from midfield.
Tristan English was on the stop.
Tristan does a great job from that middle linebacker position. 5'11", 205-pound senior. 2nd down call. Nelson again looking for room. This time he has some. Gets into Berwick territory, the 45, maybe the 44-yard line. Bring up a 3rd and short coming for the Wolfpack.
That time he went to his right. There was no room there. He cut it back to his left, but Slabinski was there and made the tackle. And it was probably a touchdown-saving tackle.
3rd down and 4. From the Berwick 45-yard line. Howe under center. Power I to the right. Shiner the call. Looking for the 1st down. Lowers his shoulder. He will not get there. He's got to bring up a 4th down call. Now, the Wolfpack hasn't done a lot of gambling in this game, but this might be a place where you would think about it.
Yeah. And once again, Tristan English came flying in there to make the stop. I mean, he tripped him up enough to slow him down because he definitely had a full steam on.
Here we go. 4th and 3. Howe under center from the 43. Then looks to the sideline. Back under center. Trying to draw Berwick across, I think, is what they're doing. They may not snap it. They do. They give to Shiner. Shiner looks for the 1st down. Shiner's second effort picks up the 1st down and then some. Howie Shiner with a terrific effort. Looked like Berwick had it stopped.
Yeah, he definitely hit that pile right about the 40-yard line. Kept those legs going. That small frame, 5'11", short frame, almost 200 pounds, just kept chugging, and he gained almost 5 yards.
So on a 4th and 3, they go for it. Shiner picks it up, and the Wolfpack in business at the Berwick 37-yard line as we come down to a minute remaining in this 3rd quarter. Power I to the left. Toss sweep left side. Nelson hit behind the line, but breaks free and picks up about 4 or 5. Oh, Berwick got some great penetration. Couldn't wrap him. And Nelson will get good yardage.
That was Slabinski once again. He had great penetration. Almost had him for about a 4 or 5 yard loss. But he's a big boy, and he can run hard, and he just blew kind of by him.
Now, they mark it at the 35, so it's only 2 yards, but could have been a 5-yard loss. 2nd and 8 at the Berwick 35-yard line.
And again, it's that ground game that their coach talked about as far as run, and right now it's very, very effective.
Nelson is the lone running back. He gets the call at the left side, and Tristan English makes the play. He does not get to the line of scrimmage. Terrific play by the Berwick middle linebacker.
Excellent job. He saw that A-gap open up opposite of the play, shot that gap, got him by the ankles in the backfield for a 1-yard loss.
And now it is 3rd down and 10. Wolfpack at the Bulldog 37-yard line. Jimmy DeAndrea has checked in on defense. Howe, the ninth grader, under center. Slot to the right. Berwick showing blitz. Howe throws across his body. Has a man wide open. It's Johnson. Inside the 15 to the 10, the 5. He's hit for a touchdown. On third down and 10, Johnson wide open. Howe rolling left, throwing right. And Wilkes-Barre area has the lead.
Yeah, basically they lined up him at the tight end position. They rolled out to the left. The corner came up. Nobody was there. He just ran right by them, threw it over top for the touchdown.
Extra point coming for Everett Corcoran out of the hold of Javon McClary. Snap. Placement. Kick is up. Kick is good. Time on the field. 5.1 seconds to go in the third. Wilkes-Barre at 21. Berwick 14. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
If you haven't been to name brand liquidations in the Berwick Plaza Shopping Center, you're missing out on great values. At name brand liquidations, you'll save money from 50 to 90% on everything imaginable. From furniture to food to bedding, you name it. Name brand liquidations not only sells a huge variety of merchandise, they feature name brands just like their name says, at low prices. When you're in the market for anything, shop at the store that has everything. Name brand liquidations. Wishing the Berwick Bulldogs a great season.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Terrific drive by Wilkes-Barre area. They go 62 yards on 8 plays. A touchdown, a 37-yard pass from ninth grader Jake Howe to Naquan Johnson. Huge play on the drive, a 4th and 3 at the Berwick 45. 6-yard run by Howie Shiner. They skitter the kick along the ground, not wanting to go to the deep men for Berwick, but it does go to Bankus. He's got nowhere to go with it, and it's brought down about the 22-yard line. So Berwick will get it when we start the fourth quarter. 3 in the books here at Crispin Field. Wilkes-Barre area 21. Berwick 14. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
When you're planning your next big event, weddings, concerts, church festivals, even construction sites, remember Preferred Portables has you covered. Preferred Portables offers a luxury restroom trailer that even has hot water. Have no power? No problem. They can provide a generator to keep the lights on. Preferred Portables can provide sanitary service to campgrounds, carnivals, parks, parties, and even has an emergency service 24 hours a day. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Email preferredportables@gmail.com. Go Berwick Bulldogs.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and Dr. Alan Lanakonis from Crispin Field in Berwick. 3 quarters of the books. Wilkes-Barre area in great field position. Big advantage for them in that third quarter, and their defense was rock solid. And as a result, they lead Berwick 21-14. The Bulldogs had 189 yards in total offense in the first half. They do not have a single first down here in the second half. They will have the football as we get underway near their 23-yard line as they move from our left to our right.
Yeah, Jim, you hit the nail on the head. They only have about 4 yards positive rushing and about 6 yards in passing in this half.
Bo Sheptock is in a slot to the right side. Wanzinski out of the gun. Gives the ball off and lost back to maybe a yard gain on the play. Spencer Kishbaugh ended up getting the football and picked up a yard to the 24. Second down and 9.
Looks like they try to do a little razzle-dazzle in there, bringing him off the cross on almost like a sprint sweep there. But again, they're so quick to the outside that they really couldn't get any ground, and they were brought down just for that yard gain.
Second down and 9. Rowan Slabinski is the tight end to the right. 3 receivers to the left. Wanzinski out of the gun. Back to throw. Has time. Loads it up. Wilk has it in midfield. Wilk is down the sideline. Dre Wilk is going to go the distance for the touchdown. That's 76 yards.
Wilk got behind the two defenders, and the two Wilkes-Barre area defenders ran into each other. Wilk got behind, the pass was over top, caught it. He went about 45 yards untouched for the touchdown.
So Berwick, struggling mightily on offense, comes up with a huge play here early in the fourth quarter. And now Luke Peters' extra point away from a tie score. Ethan Lear does the snapping. Dre Wilk will hold. Snap, placement, kick is up. Kick is good. Time out of the field. 11:08 to play. Berwick 21. Wilkes-Barre 21. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Wilkes-Barre. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
This is Bird football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Dre Wilk with his third touchdown reception of the game. And Berwick has tied it at 21. That was the second play of this fourth quarter, which has 11:08 remaining.
And that was one of the keys we talked about at the beginning of the game, that Wilkes-Barre had to prevent Berwick from having those big plays during the course of the game.
Peters' kick is very, very high and taken at the 10-yard line. The return short of the 20-yard line. Great coverage downfield for Berwick. Jimmy DeAndrea makes the tackle of Nelson. And so Wilkes-Barre takes it over. It was the first time they've had bad field position in this second half. They'll take over at their 19.
Yeah, again, we talked about that in the third quarter. Berwick was playing basically from their 20 yards in for the whole quarter. Now the table's turned a little bit. Let's see if Berwick defense can hold them in there.
Wolfpack from their 19-yard line. I formation. Nelson gets the call, tries the right side, maybe a yard to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, again, being in there, being a little conservative. They're going to rely on that big front four of the Wolfpack, try to get some leverage in there. And but once again, great defense by the Berwick linebackers.
They give him 2 to the 21. Second down and 8. Wilkes-Barre area. Slot to the left side. High formation behind the freshman quarterback, Jake Howe. Nelson the call again, breaks to the secondary. 30, 35, 40, 45 over midfield. It's a foot race. 30, 20, no race at all. Makai Nelson in for the score, 79 yards.
It's just a straight lead for Makai right up the middle. For whatever reason, the linebackers were not there. He just split them, and once he broke out to the secondary, it was just a foot race, and he took it all the way to the house.
So the extra point coming for Corcoran early in this fourth quarter. Big play, fireworks. Berwick followed by Wilkes-Barre area. Corcoran's extra point attempt. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out of the field. 10:18 to go in the game. Wilkes-Barre area, 28. Berwick, 21. You're listening to Berwick football on Pop Radio.
Welsh's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welsh's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welsh's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jumpstart, tire change, are locked out, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welsh's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventive maintenance and state inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welsh's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Center Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick.
This is Bird football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Wilkes-Barre area's junior running back Makai Nelson has come as advertised. Surprised Berwick early in the game by playing a wide receiver position, catching short passes. Now he's shown what he can do as a running back. Moments ago, 79-yard scoring run for him that has given his team a 28-21 lead, 10-18 to play. Corcoran's kick comes up very short. Fielded by Ryan Bankus, and he is brought down. There is a face mask coming. That was actually Bo Sheptock on the return. He got to about the 27, and Berwick will be with the recipient of a mark-off from there. But boy, the Bulldogs had just settled in after the long touchdown reception of Dre Wilk. Stopped the first down run, couldn't stop the second.
Yeah, it looked like they were, again, playing that game of field position and had them set in there. It was actually a good play. The fullback isolated on the one linebacker, took them out of the play, and allowed him to get that open area right outside and just took off.
Again, that's just a 5-yard penalty.
Ooh.
That seemed, if you're going to give 15, that had to be one in which you do.
Yeah, well, it looked like when he tackled him, he got him from behind the helmet. It actually wasn't a face mask, but he pulled him down with his hand from behind the helmet. So I don't know if that's a difference or not.
Berwick from their 33 with a 1st and 10. Kishbaugh on a wing to the right. Lonzinski gives to Bankus, hit behind the line. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. If so, that's all.
Yeah, that was Naquan Johnson came in. He saw it, play developing, and he just shot right past the blockers and made the play.
2nd down and 10. Bulldogs at their 33. Clock running, 9:50 to go in the game. Berwick's 2-game winning streak in jeopardy. They trail Wilkes-Barre area by a score of 28-21. Lonzinski out of the gun, back to throw. Big pass rush, now throws to Wilk, and he was open at the 45-yard line. Pass beyond his reach, that would have been 7.
Lonzinski did a nice job there. He looked for his first 2 receivers, looked out the second, had a little bit of a rush, stepped up. I think he just panicked a little bit. Had he just taken his time and lofted that up, that would have been another 6 for Wilk.
The Wilkes-Barre area losing track of Dre Wilk in this game.
And he definitely got behind. He had about 3-4 steps behind the defender.
3rd down and 10. Big call, Berwick, trailing by 7. Slot to the left, slot to the right. Lonzinski out of the gun, has the snap. Back to throw. He's in trouble, and he will be sacked back at the 25-yard line. Good coverage downfield. There was nowhere to go for Matt Lonzinski.
Yeah, Wilkes-Barre has been pretty passive as far as the blitzes through most of the game, but now I could see the coach every once in a while he's throwing that in. That was a full-scale blitz by the 2 inside linebackers, knowing that Berwick probably had to throw.
So now the pressure will be on the Berwick defense. Bulldogs trailing by 7. They're going to give up the football and possibly give up good field position to Wilkes-Barre area.
Wilk standing at his 15-yard line.
Wilk back at his 10. Lears, snap is there. Kick is away. Again, Wilkes-Barre area will let it go. They've had a couple of bobbles that scares them. And a good roll for Berwick will go dead at the 36-yard line. So that's where the Wolfpack will put in play with 8:33 to go. And they lead Berwick 28-21. So it's very, very big possession by Berwick. In high school football, you have a possession, run off a couple of first downs, you can use up a lot of clock, and there's just 8:33 to go in this game.
Yeah, and that front line of Berwick's defense is really going to have to buckle down right now because Wilkes-Barre is probably going to pack it in tight and just keep handing it off to their ball carriers inside.
It will be Gannon Redding, the fullback, ahead of Makai Nelson in the eye. Slot to the right. Nelson gets the call, looks for a running room, has some. He gets out to about the 38, maybe the 39-yard line.
I think we're going to see a steady diet of that right now, Jim.
3 yards from Makai Nelson. 2nd down and 7. Started the game as a wide receiver. They were effective in the short passes to him. Now he's back to his natural position of tailback. 2nd and 7. Nelson again off the right side, has a head of steam and picks up the first down over the 45 to the 47.
Just power running. They're leading with the fullback. He's getting that first block on the Berwick linebackers, and then just his speed and size, he's busting through, and just a sheer determination getting that yardage.
Makai Nelson is just a junior. He's already received a scholarship offer from UConn. And we can see why.
Yeah.
He's got the whole package.
He does. Size. Looks like they're giving him a little bit of a break right now.
Yeah, but it's not much of a break for the defense when Howie Shiner is the running back. He is the tailback in the eye on a first down call from the 47. Shiner, the call, tries the right side, is stood up, and will get very little on the play. Tristan English has been very, very active in this game from his linebacker spot.
Definitely.
And Jake Howe shaken up on the play.
Yeah, he ran into Shiner when he handed it off. That's how tough a running back he is. Hurt his own quarterback there. Maybe it's just a cramp, but he took a good shot from Shiner once he handed it off.
We have 7:01 to go in the game. There will be this injury timeout. We'll keep it here. With Wilkes-Barre leading it 28-21. A couple people back, including Javont McClary, who played quarterback a year ago, but Howe won the job. He jogs to the sideline, so he may be out for only one play. We'll see who they put under center as they face a 2nd down and 9 from their own 48. It will be Javont McClary. And again, he's no newcomer to this quarterback position. And he's a good athlete. So we'll see how they play it.
Yeah, I could see, once again, I think we'll see a steady diet of run, run, run.
Nelson is the tailback in the eye. Redding ahead of him. 2nd down call coming. Long count. They're looking at that play clock. A little early to start that stuff. But maybe not. Berwick showing blitz. Call goes to Nelson off the right side. He'll get to the 49-yard line. That's about all. So 3rd down call coming.
Berwick's obviously betting on they're going to keep running it, so they're really tightening up their defense, making sure that he doesn't get any extra yardage once he gets past that line of scrimmage. The linebackers are doing their job.
I thought maybe we'd see Howe back in the game, but it's Javont McClary on the sideline talking to the coaches, and he's trotting on. He'll take this snap, and it's a big one. Clock running. Under 6 minutes to play. 28-21 Wilkes-Barre area. They have a 3rd down and 7 at their 49, and they will use a timeout.
There's another player down right now for
Bulldogs trail by 7. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
Neighbor Fence Company has fencing for where you want it, serving Columbia, Montour, and Luzerne counties. Neighbor Fence provides top-quality residential and commercial fencing, vinyl, chain link, wood, aluminum, and ornamental fencing, plus vinyl railing and specialty products. Neighbor Fence Company, 1140 State Route 239 in Wapwallopen. Call 570-752-4423 or visit them online at neighborfencecompany.com. Neighbor Fence Company is a proud sponsor of local youth athletic teams.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
What's Nelson?
5:57 to go in the game. That was not a Wilkes-Barre timeout. It was an injury timeout. It was to Makai Nelson, but he appears to be okay. It was a cramping situation. He'll be on the sideline, though, for this play, and it's a big play. 3rd down and 7. Wilkes-Barre area at their own 49-yard line. Howie Shiner will be the running back. Javont McClary stays in there at the quarterback controls in place of Jake Howe, who went off with the injury.
There's some discussion about the clock and everything. The coach from Wilkes-Barre was just conversing with the referee. Now he's coming over here to Coach Bennett.
Referee Jim Elliott talked things over with Mike Bennett, Bulldogs' first-year head coach. Tell you what, with 5:57 to go, and this turning into a ground game, at least where Wilkes-Barre area is concerned, this is a huge 3rd down play. Looking up at the clock, with 5:57 remaining, Wilkes-Barre is having a lot of time to think about this 3rd and 7. They have time to change it if they want a couple times. They're going to put some time back on the clock, I believe.
6:14, they said.
We're putting some time back on the clock. 6:14 remaining fourth quarter.
So that's all good where Berwick is concerned, but now the pressure on the Berwick defense. They need a stop. McClary is the quarterback. He's thrown passes in the past, not tonight.
Yeah, they're all tight.
Power eye to the left. And it is Howie Shire who is the tailback. Again, they're looking at that play clock. They're already milking it. 3rd and 7. McClary rolls right, has running room, first down to 40, and down at the 36-yard line. Wow, what a neat concept for Wilkes-Barre area. He turned the corner on the bootleg, and he had all kinds of running room. And a first down at the Berwick 37-yard line, 14 yards on the run by Javon McClary.
Yeah, they did it. They ran that power eye backfield. He faked the sweep to the right-hand side. He just bootlegged around. There was nobody outside there to stop him.
You know, you have a quarterback who's just come on. You've got a power eye formation. Probably the last thing you're looking for is what Berwick just saw. And now Howe is back in there. From the 37-yard line, the call goes to Shire. Shire gets to about the 35-yard line. And Berwick will use a timeout. With 5:08 to go, Bulldogs trail 28-21. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Digging deeper to make ends meet? Now you can get a 26% tax credit with a geothermal heat pump system from Climate Master. Climate Master geothermal systems tap the constant temperature of the earth to provide heating, cooling, and hot water while keeping your home comfortable all year long. And Climate Master systems are so efficient, you'll save up to 70% on your energy bill. The investment in a Climate Master system quickly pays for itself. Contact your local Climate Master dealer, Robert G. Dent Heating and Air Conditioning in Light Street. Go to robertgdentheating-ac.com.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Berwick, 2 timeouts remaining. 5:08 to go in the game. Wilkes-Barre area with the ball at the Bulldog 36-yard line. And the Wolfpack leading the Bulldogs 28-21. 2nd down and 9 at the 36. High formation. Call goes to Nelson back in there. Makai Nelson straight ahead. We'll get to about the 34-yard line. 3rd down call coming. We're under 5 to go in the game. Berwick needs a stop for any chance in this one.
We're definitely going to see, it's 2-down territory. I don't think they're going to do anything fancy here. They're just going to keep trying to pound it again with Nelson in there. They're going to let that play clock run down to almost 0.
3rd down and 7. In motion. Los Johnson lines up as a tight end on the right. Nelson gets the call straight ahead, nothing doing. And Berwick will use a timeout. We'll keep it right here. So Bulldogs with 1 timeout remaining, 4:19 to go. And following this timeout, it's going to be 4th and 7 for Wilkes-Barre area. They converted on a big 3rd down play earlier on. And now they'll have a big 4th down play. Berwick has to have a stop here.
Yeah, they definitely have to pay attention because obviously so far Wilkes-Barre area coach has been able to pull some rabbits out of his hat to get some of these first downs. Some great calls just caught Berwick on their heels. So they'll have to be ready for almost anything.
And Berwick with 1 timeout remaining. The scoreboard clock saying 2, but they've just used 2. It's the ball at the 33-yard line. So big call coming. 4th and 7, Wilkes-Barre area. The 33-yard line. If they're in shotgun, I wonder if you'd consider a pooch kick.
We have Nelson split out to the left here.
Howe from shotgun. Has the snap, back to throw, fires to the right side, juggling catch, but short of the first down. Did they give him the catch?
Yes.
It's McClary, great catch, but short of the first down yardage. So Berwick gets the stop they had to have, and they take over with 4:14 to go, trailing by 7.
That was a great play. Again, a lot of composure by that freshman quarterback. Threw it right, a good timing play, as we said earlier. Nice timing play, good out, high percentage pass. But it was a great catch by McClary.
So the Bulldogs, who have struggled offensively in the second half with the exception of one huge play, a long pass to Trey Wilk for a touchdown. They have it at their own 29-yard line. 4:14 to go. Lonsinski out of the gun. Back to throw. Fires to the far side. Has the completion. And out of bounds across the way. It's Ethan Lear with his second reception of the game. It stops the clock. We'll see where they mark it. They're marking at the 37, so pick up on 8, 2nd and 2.
Great Tommy pass. Get them out of bounds. Got some positive yardage. A lot of time. Basically run their 2-minute drill. Just take their time and get down the field.
Slot to the right side. Wilk is wide right. Makai Nelson out on him. Lonsinski fires, has Bo Sheptock, but he is wrapped up. We'll see where they mark forward progress.
Should have the first down. They'll stop the clock.
Yep, it's out at the 42-yard line. Picked up 5 on the play. 1st and 10. Clock goes under 4 minutes of play. Scoreboard still showing 2 timeouts for Berwick. I have has 1. That'll be something to watch. Slot to the right side. Sheptock in the slot. Slot to the left as well. Low snap. Lonsinski picks it up, looks downfield, and he will be clobbered, and there'll be a big loss of the play back to the 33-yard line. Loss of 9. Huge play.
Wow. It's unfortunate at that time. A low snap. He almost got out of it. He had a chance. He looked up, but unfortunately the defenders got in his face again. He could not release the ball, and he had to take it down.
Now it is 2nd down and 19 for Berwick. Back at the 33. Lonsinski back to throw. Looking. Now he's in trouble. Throws it away. Let's see if it's going to be grounding. The officials rule that a receiver was close enough. He was not out of the pocket. So now it'll be 3rd and 19. So really desperation time for Berwick.
Yeah.
This will have to be 4-down territory regardless, I would think, with 3:07 to go.
Yeah, and Wilkes-Barre area, knowing that they're passing or just teeing off with their linebackers and coming in. And with those big linemen in there, the Berwick line's having a hard time defending, especially when Berwick's sending like 4 or 5 receivers out at the time.
Here we go. 3rd and 19. Berwick at their 33. Lonsinski has the snap. Back to throw. Here comes the pass rush. He's in trouble. Rolls left. He'll be sacked. Back at the 30-yard line. Matt has real trouble with pass rushes. And he'll lose 3 more. 4th and 22. Really desperation time for the Bulldogs now.
Yeah, it's Hail Mary time at this point. That's for all the speed and everything. How said Wilkes-Barre's, basically laying back. They're playing in their dime package these last 2 times, but they're getting a lot of pressure coming up through the middle.
Yeah, and defensive back Lonsinski on the last snap, there didn't appear to be anybody open.
No.
And he's just trying to buy time. So you know they're going to pass. You can have people up front tee off and have your secondary well aware of what needs to happen. It's really, really tough. 2:35 to go in the game. 4th and 22 Berwick. The ball back at the Bulldogs 29-yard line.
Well, Coach Bennett, obviously, they practice some of these things in situational drills. So I'm sure he has a play already drawn up. The players are, practiced something like this already. So we'll see how it turns out.
6 defensive backs in the game for Wilkes-Barre area. The stick is at the Wilkes-Barre area 48-yard line. That's where the ball needs to go for Berwick to stay in this game. Wilkes-Barre area trying for their first win over Berwick. Just the third meeting since the jointure.
2:35 remaining in the contest.
Bo Sheptock, Trey Wilk, Spencer Kishball, all to the right side. 3 terrific playmakers, but they need 22.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 down linemen rushing, linebackers now blitzing.
Wanzinski hit as the pass is away, incomplete, and that should do it. No chance for Matt Wanzinski. Hit hard. The pass falls short. He's shaken up on the play, walking slowly to the sideline. A dejected near sideline jubilation on the far sideline. Is Wilkes-Barre area closing in on their first win over Berwick. They will take over at the 29-yard line of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it was definitely a tale of two halves as far as the Berwick offense is concerned, and Wilkes-Barre's defense really picked it up in the second half.
And take away the one long pass to Wilk, and almost nothing for Berwick in the second half. Howe under center, gives the ball to Nelson off the right side, has running room, still on his feet inside the 15-yard line. So Wilkes-Barre area, 2 minutes, 24 seconds away from victory. They mark it at the 15-yard line. So 14 yards on the carry. Howe under center. Gives the ball to Nelson. Hit behind the line, breaks free, and goes in easily for a touchdown. Well, perhaps Berwick just letting up just a little bit, knowing how desperate the situation was. As Nelson met little resistance off that right side, goes in from 15 yards out with 2:18 to play.
Yeah, I'm sure the Berwick defenders are a little deflated. They played pretty tough. And again, they're up against a very big physical offensive line, a big physical running backs in Nelson and Shiner. I mean, it took its toll over the course of the evening.
Fourth rushing touchdown of the game for Makai Nelson. Evan Corcoran will attempt the extra point. Snap is high, placement's down, kick is up, and the kick is good. Time on the field, 2:18 to go. Wilkes-Barre area, 35, Berwick 21. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
Northeast Pennsylvania is your home. And no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, what you rely on most is security. When that house becomes a home, the moment you get that new car, when your dreams become a reality, it's times like this when you have to look to the experts for advice and financial peace of mind. They're there with innovative products and services to help you with your financial future every step of the way. Together, they will help dreams and goals become reality. They are more than a bank. They're your neighbor. They are First Keystone Community Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
This is Berwick football coach Mike Bennett. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Pop Radio.
Wilkes-Barre area has pretty much put this one away with 2:18 to go. They lead Berwick 35-21. Moments ago, the fourth rushing touchdown of the game for one of the best running backs that Berwick's going to face this year. Wilkes-Barre area's Makai Nelson. Corcoran will kick it off for the Wolfpack. Bankus and Sheptock deep. Kick will come up short. Sheptock at the 15 to the 20, the 25. The return over the 40 out to the 43. Nicely done by Bo Sheptock. So Berwick has it one more time Bulldogs are going to fall to 2-3 on the season. Again, they will take on Wyoming Valley West. We'll have probably a final in that Wyoming Valley West Dallas game with Jay Klein coming up in the post game. That was a game with Dallas coming in unbeaten and Wyoming Valley West coming in without a win. Bulldogs likely final possession, starting at their own 42-yard line. Slot to the right, wide receiver left. Lonzinski has the ball batted down. It goes right to him, and he fumbles the football at the 45-yard line. Carried it for a couple, fumbled it, and Wilkes-Barre comes up with it.
Tough night for him.
Yep, a couple interceptions, couple of fumbles lost. And Wilkes-Barre area is a couple of kneel downs away from this win, but we'll have a injury timeout way back at the 40-yard line of Wilkes-Barre area.
So I have a question for you, Jim.
Yes.
Is it a pass reception?
That is a good question. I think it would have to be.
Okay.
It's a pass completion and a pass reception. And a fumble, that's about everything you can you can have in one play. But give Wilkes-Barre area credit. Boy, they actually dominated this second half. And they did not win the line of scrimmage necessarily in the first half. They have in the second half.
For sure. And again, when we look at the stats, I'm tolling them up a little bit. You can see the big difference when Wilkes-Barre switched. From a lot of passing in the first half where they went totally to that ground game. It made a big difference. And they snuck that one touchdown pass in there, a 37-yard pass. But otherwise, it was all on the ground.
Trayvon Gebitsky was the injured player for the Wolfpack, but he jogged off under his own power. So Berwick has a timeout left. We'll see if they use it or not. It's kind of a moot point here, 35-21, Wilkes-Barre area. 2:02 to play in the game. They are going to go to the victory formation. They'll have Makai Nelson 10 yards deep. Howe will take the knee. And Berwick will not use the timeout that the scoreboard indicates they have remaining. So big win for the Wolfpack on the road. They had lost 2 in a row to Berwick. The only previous meetings, these teams did not meet during the COVID year. And now they get a victory. We mentioned Berwick on the road to take on Wyoming Valley West at Spartan Stadium in Kingston next Friday. For Wilkes-Barre area, they'll be home against a very good Crestwood team. As there's another kneel down by Howe. And again, I don't know what the final numbers are going to say, but I'm really impressed with this 9th grader at quarterback, Jake Howe. I just thought he showed extreme composure during the course of this game. Didn't do anything to hurt them. And he looks like he's got a bright future.
Yeah, he's going to end up with over 150 yards passing, no interceptions, obviously pretty well safe passes. But again, like you said, he has great composure in the backfield there.
45 seconds, so this is probably the final snap as Howe goes down. And Wilkes-Barre area jubilant on the far side. You come into Crispin Field and get a win, especially against a Berwick team that had been playing so well and had 1-2 in a row. You have to feel good about it, and they deserve this win. The final score, Wilkes-Barre area 35, Berwick 21. Stay with us for the Independence Ford post-game show. We will have the stats of tonight's game. We'll have an update on the high school football scoreboard with Jay Klein. It's all coming up next. You're listening to Berwick Football on Pop Radio.
It won't be long before tax time rolls around, so remember to visit Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting for your income tax needs. ND Accounting and Consulting handles both business and individual taxes, as well as offering a variety of accounting services, including payroll, auditing, and bookkeeping. For tax and accounting services, look for Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting with 2 locations, 214 Pine Street in Berwick and 5929 Main Road in Sweet Valley.
Northeast Pennsylvania, it's your home. And no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, what you rely on most is security. When that house becomes a home, the moment you get that new car, when your dreams become a reality, it's times like this when you have to look to the experts for advice and financial peace of mind. They're there with innovative products and services to help you with your financial future every step of the way. Together, they will help dreams and goals become reality. They are more than a bank. They're your neighbor. They are First Keystone Community Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
The home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is WHLM AM, W282CO Bloomsburg, W234BH West Hazleton, W242CY Berwick, and W288CF Danville. Pop Radio, a Seven Mountains Media radio station.
Northeast Pennsylvania, it's your home. And no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, what you rely on most is security. When that house becomes a home, the moment you get that new car, when your dreams become a reality, it's times like this when you have to look to the experts for advice and financial peace of mind. They're there with innovative products and services to help you with your financial future every step of the way. Together, they will help dreams and goals become reality. They are more than a bank. They're your neighbor. They are First Keystone Community Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It won't be long before tax time rolls around, so remember to visit Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting for your income tax needs. ND Accounting and Consulting handles both business and individual.
Area dominated the second half, and the Wolfpack come away with the win. 35-21 is the final. Berwick scored on their second possession of this game. They put together a 10-play, 83-yard drive. That's the longest drive of the game. In fact, that is our Independence Ford drive of the game. Big play of 42 yards. To go in the first quarter, but Wilkes-Barre area on their next possession put together a 6-play, 75-yard scoring drive. Two big pass plays, 42 yards to Makai Nelson. Kick tied the score at 7. Wilkes-Barre took over at the 41. They drove to a 1st and goal at the 7. Then a great goal line stand by Berwick, forcing a 28-yard field goal attempt. The kick was no good, and the Bulldogs took over and went on a 4-play, 80-yard drive. Big play, a 37-yard pass completion to Bo Sheptock. An even bigger play, Matt Lenzinski, 38 yards to Dre Wilk. That came with 1:31 to go in the half. Peters with the extra point. Berwick led 14-7. Bulldogs an impressive 189 total yards in offense in that first half. Little did they know they would get very, very few in the second half. In the third quarter, Howie Shiner returned a Matt Lenzinski pass, intercepting it and returning it to the 12. Makai Nelson in from 12 yards out. 4:38 to go in the third. Berwick and Wilkes-Barre area tied at 14 all after the Evan Cochran extra point. Then Wilkes-Barre area put together an 8-play, 62-yard drive. Jake Howe, 37 yards on a roll left to Naquan Johnson. Cochran with the extra point. Wilkes-Barre area led after 3 quarters, 21-14. Berwick did not have a single first down in that third quarter. Early in the fourth, second play of that last period, Matt Lenzinski long to Dre Wilkes, 76 yards. Luke Peters with the extra point. Score was tied at 21. Didn't last long, less than a minute. Second play of the next possession for Wilkes-Barre area. Makai Nelson breaks free, 79 yards for the score. Evan Corcoran with the extra point. Wilkes-Barre area led 28-21. And the Bulldogs would get no closer. They had trouble moving the football. Wilkes-Barre area took over on downs. Makai Nelson, 15-yard touchdown run to cap the scoring with 2:18 to go, making our final score Wilkes-Barre area 35 and Berwick 21. That's the final from here. Additional scores. Let's go to Jay Klein.
Well, we got a whole slew of final scores to bring your way. Tonight, it was Danville over Southern Columbia, 49-14. Mount Carmel over Bloomsburg, 41-7. And it was Crestwood over Williamsport, 51-13. Hazelton area, 42. West Scranton, 7. Warrior Run, 26. Northwest, 6. And that's our final score. And Selinsgrove over Shikellamy, 35-7. And Jersey Shore, 63. Mifflinburg, 24. And Valley View 21, Piston area nothing. Now in the fourth quarter, it's Dallas over Wyoming Valley West, 45-7. And it's Warrior Run over Northwest, 26-6. That's in the third quarter. And Central Columbia over Lewisburg, 14-8 in the fourth quarter. For Pop Radio Sports, I'm Jake Klein.
Thank you very much, Jake. Right here at Crispin Field, it's Wilkes-Barre area over Berwick, 35-21. Some stats from tonight's game. Al Lanaconis.
Thank you, Jim. It was definitely a tale of two halves. When we look at Wilkes-Barre and their total offense, it was a switch, rushing offense versus passing offense, and it kind of equates and shows their dominance in the second half as far as that offensive line and as well as their running backs. As far as individual statistics for the Wolfpack, obviously the big player in the whole thing was Mr. Nelson. He rushed the ball for 24 times for 175 yards. Berwick did a great job holding him down in the first half with only 19 yards rushing, but he exploded for 100 plus yards in the second half, and that made a big difference. The other running backs for the Wolfpack, Shiner, he rushed the ball 11 times for 39 yards. McClary twice for 14 yards. Davin Underwood rushed the ball 4 times for a total of 3 yards. And Howe, the quarterback, obviously was sacked a couple times. So he had 4 rushes for minus 10 yards. So in the second half, they rushed the ball 23 times for a total of 157 yards. But a majority of that obviously came with 175 yards of Nelson, and if you take away the sacks and everything, that's why we end up with the 157. So for the total on the night, they rushed the ball 44 times for 203 yards, but again, majority of that coming in the second half. The freshman Howe did a very good job as far as the second half. He only threw the ball 4 times in the second half, but unfortunately for Berwick, one of them was a touchdown. He was 2 for 4 for 38 yards. His total for the evening was it was 9 for 14 for 154 yards. So he did a very good job as far as I was concerned. Individually, Johnson had 2 catches. They were big for 68 yards. McClary had 1 catch for 4 yards. Dominic Saraceno had 2 catches for 43 yards. And Makai Nelson had 5 catches for 68 yards. So he did a great job, both obviously total offense for Wilkes-Barre area with between his running, 68 yards passing. So he was over 240 yards total offense by himself out of the 240 some yards that we saw out of Wilkes-Barre area. Let's see. Evan Cochran had 5-point after attempts that were good to help the scoring for Wilkes-Barre also at that time. They were penalized very few times. There was only 1 penalty in the second half. It was actually a pretty clean game on both sides of the ball for Berwick as well as for Wilkes-Barre area. I also had Wilkes-Barre area with 11 first downs in the second half. So they obviously, when we look at the difference between the first half and the second half, for only 46 yards rushing in the first half compared to almost 160 in the second half. They had 117 yards passing in the first half compared to 38 yards in the second half. Field position played a big part of that, obviously. But again, Mr. Nelson revved up the Jets. His offensive line really got him some areas to move, and he took full advantage of that tonight. With him rushing for, obviously, majority of the scores. He had 4 rushing touchdowns for the Wolfpack. When it goes back to Berwick, again, another tale of two halves. What we saw there, Berwick rushed for 54 yards in the first half. They had 15 carries for 54 yards. Second half was 10 yards. And when you add the sacks in by Lonzinski, they had a minus 15 yards rushing. So they had a total of 25 rushes for only 39 yards. Passing, again, the first half, they were 5 for 8 for 135 yards. Second half, they were 3 for 12 for 95 yards. 76 of those yards came on one play, but the interceptions loomed big there also. Individually, Ryan Bankus carried the ball 13 times for 51 yards. Bo Sheptock ran the ball 3 times for a total of 8 yards. Kishball had 1 carry for 1 yard. Wilk had 1 carry for 4 yards. Rowan Slabinski had the 1 carry in the first half for 2 yards. And Lonzinski, unfortunately, with the sacks, those carries were 6 carries for minus 27 yards. In the passing area, we saw Lonzinski, again, in the first half doing very well. Second half, he was 3 for 12 for 95 yards, 1 interception. But again, out of that 95 yards, 76 yards was the 1 pass reception for a touchdown for Wilk. Individually receiving, Wilk had 4 catches for 126 yards. And the 2 touchdowns, Slabinski had 1 catch for 6 yards. Spencer Kishball only 1 catch, but for 42 yards. Sheptock had 3 catches for 42 yards. Lear had 2 catches for 14. And Lonzinski, if we count that one at the end, he had 1 catch for, we figured, about 3 yards before he fumbled at the end there. So, again, a tale of two halves for Berwick. When you total everything up as far as total yards, passing, they were 8 for 20 for 230 yards on the night. Add their 39 yards rushing, they had 269 total yards for the evening. So Luke Peters had the extra points for the Bulldogs. Again, it was a tough night for the Bulldogs. They ran into a formidable opponent there, a big front 4, and some very talented running backs and defensive backs, and kept them in the game.
With the win, Wilkes-Barre area goes to 3-2. They'll be home against Crestwood next Friday night at 7 o'clock. The Bulldogs fall to 2-3. They'll be in Kingston next Friday to take on the Spartans of Wyoming Valley West. Game kicks off at 7. Hope you'll join us for the broadcast as usual. It will begin with the Coach Bennett Show at 6. That final again, Wilkes-Barre 35, Berwick 21. For Al Anaconis and our producer Jay Klein, this is Jim Doyle reminding you heard it live on Pop Radio.
You've been listening to Berwick Bulldog Football on Pop Radio. Brought to you by First Columbia Bank and Trust. With you every step of the way. Welsh's Towing and Repair, towing, recovery, and lockout services. Axis Gymnastics Academy in Bloomsburg. Independence Ford, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. S.J. Kowalski Heating and Cooling, the way the earth intended. First Keystone Community Bank. Yesterday's traditions, tomorrow's visions. Mason's Monogram Service for all your Bulldog merchandise. Robert G. Dent Heating and Air Conditioning in Light Street. Red's Roofing, the Roofing Ninjas in Berwick. Lehigh Valley Health Network, the region's leader in orthopedic and sports medicine. The Mayo Funeral Homes in Berwick and Shikshini. And by Wagner's Trophies and Engravables. Main Street in Bloomsburg.